ESPN, celebrating 150 years of college football.
Happy 150th birthday, college football, part of a year-long celebration. From the shadows of the College Football Hall of Fame, we welcome you to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. You know, the college football season really can't kick off until the Crimson Tide do. Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Levy. Great to be back, a fourth season with Brian Griese and Todd McShay. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, upgrade.
Welcome.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you for welcoming me. And just a couple minutes ago, I got rocked in the head with a football, so things can only look up from here. I'm excited to be here.
And she's cheating on Pat McAfee already. Hey, the scoreboard says 0-0 behind us here, but Alabama is still focused on 44-16. They are angry for what happened at the championship game.
They're embarrassed. They were humbled in that championship game. They come out here with a chip on their shoulder. What a great environment to do so. This is what Nick Saban, this is why he plays in this game against these Power 5 opponents, is to get a jump start to his season.
Yeah, and everyone's going to talk about Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback, but the wide receivers. This might be the best group of receivers we've seen in a decade. Jerry Jeudy kicks off the group. He could be a top 5 pick. You've got Ruggs, you've got Waddle. I mean, the group is as deep as you could possibly have at wide receiver. It's going to be a tough matchup for this Duke defense.
And I spoke with their new offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, before the game. He walked in, looked up, had stars in his eyes, and said, I can't believe this is my first game as offensive coordinator for Alabama here in this building. Of course, he was offensive coordinator here for the national championship game a couple years ago. He's really excited to get going, and he has elevated Tua Tagovailoa's game. I'm excited to see that.
As for Duke, no Daniel Jones. Of course, he left Duke early. He was the 6th pick in this most recent NFL draft.
Already? You're starting it already? Come on.
Welcome, everybody, to the college football season from our crew. We're all ready to kick it off. It's Bama and Duke from Atlanta when we come back. Back in Atlanta, set to go. It's Alabama and Duke. As we welcome you to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game on ABC. And this is about to get real. Bama can't believe there's a 2 next to their name. They think they should always be number 1. Duke cracked the top 25 last season.
You think McShay's going to talk to us after what we did there?
Absolutely.
Okay,
and
good.
We're not going to stop either. Back with Brian Griese, I'm Steve Levy. It was on this field the legend of Tua began a couple seasons ago. In overtime to the rescue, a championship game against Georgia. Last year he said, hey, he didn't feel like he should overstep. This year he knows it's his team.
Well, he took the momentum from that championship game into the early part of last year. He won the Heisman Trophy. Everybody had written it off through the first 3 months of the season. But then against Georgia in the SEC championship game, against Clemson in the national championship game, he threw 4 interceptions. It was a completely different national championship game picture for Tua Tagovailoa from the previous to last year. So he has got to get better. He's got to continue to work on this offense. Nick Saban said we didn't have enough offense. Believe that, right? What does that mean? Well, teams like Georgia and Clemson had good players and good coaches on the defensive side. We're up to the task.
Offense figures to be fine this year. As for the defense, we were in Tuscaloosa on Tuesday, and that's when Dylan Moses, arguably the best linebacker in the country, was injured in practice, out indefinitely with that knee injury that will impact the Tide in many ways, Todd.
Steve, you're talking about 2 freshmen, true freshmen, starting at inside linebacker. You've got a really good offensive coordinator and a head coach in David Cutcliffe. He's going to try to exploit those guys. You've got versatile weapons on the offensive side at the running back position. Deion Jackson, Britton Brown are 2 guys that can move in the slot. They can try to target him. I think that's going to be the matchup to watch. If Duke has any chance to overcome as a 33, 35-point underdog, they've got to get things going with those running backs against the true freshmen in this matchup.
Todd, thank you. Other Bama news. Tamale.
So much, Steve. 4 Alabama players, running back Najee Harris, Brian Robinson, wide receiver Devontae Smith, and linebacker Terrell Lewis will be suspended for a part of this game, but I have confirmed that we will see them in the first half. I spoke with their offensive coordinator, Steve Sarkisian, who told me that redshirt freshman Jerome Ford will start in this game, and he is concerned about the youth at that running back position. He's going to watch his running backs very closely, gauge their confidence early on in this game, and he told me he's going to lean on Tua Tagovailoa in their passing game early on, Steve.
All right, Molly, thank you. So I think we've got it covered from top to bottom. Running the four-man weave. And ready to roll.
What a great place to start the college football season in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the site of so many unbelievable games, championship games in the SEC and national championship games. Can't wait to kick this season off with you guys.
Looking forward to the whole thing, the whole traveling party. As we open with this neutral site game, Duke out of the ACC, Alabama out of the SEC. Duke has won the toss, and they will defer. Bama will receive. We'll get our first look at Tua Tagovailoa. Trayvon Diggs and Henry Ruggs are back deep for Bama. A.J. Reed will kick it away for Duke. Been waiting a long time for this one. Toe meets leather, and we're underway. Here comes Alabama with Henry Ruggs out beyond the 20-yard line. Duke's special teams stopped by Mateo Durant, and that's how we begin. Tua Tagovailoa. He was, in the end, the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy, setting all sorts of Bama passing records. And when you break a Bama record, that's something. Had the brilliant start to the season, bit of a slide running into some tougher defenses, and he's aided this season by his roommate, his younger brother, who, as Tua says, doesn't go out either. So they're a perfect combination. Bama opens up with Jerome Ford at running back, redshirt freshman, and three excellent receivers, top of your screen. Tagovailoa will hand off to Ford and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. Kobe Kwanzaa comes in to make the stop. Kwanzaa's a big story for Duke. He's playing with an injury to his thumb, had surgery about a week ago. You thought that would hinder him, and Kwanzaa answers right away.
No, he was not going to miss this opportunity on this stage against this team.
2nd and 9, give him a gain of 1. One clap. Tagovailoa has the football. The lefty in all sorts of trouble. Able to get rid of it to Ford in the backfield, and he will reach across for 1 yard. Derek Tangelo had the big hit on Tagovailoa.
More of the same from a year ago. The pressure on Tua Tagovailoa. No read, nowhere to go on the front side, and then that offensive line gets a little bit leaky, and he takes a big shot from Serenor.
Here's 3rd down and 7. Duke showing pressure.
Duke wants to come get pressure off the side, off the slot. They're going to check two, back to a two-deep defense. A little bit of mind game here in the first drive.
Here's the pressure up the middle. Tagovailoa, they had him, and he can't escape. Tua Tagovailoa is dropped. It's Kobe Kwanzaa again. The thumb is just fine for Duke.
Great start for Duke defensively. Matt Guerrieri, their defensive coordinator, decided to come with the blitz. Kobe Kwanzaa comes off the weak side. They were worried about their strong side in a pre-snap look. They confused Tagovailoa, and a big sack for Kwanzaa.
Ken, we heard all week Kwanzaa had the surgery. No way he plays in this game. And the tough guy answers already the bell early. Josh Blackwell is back for Duke, and he'll stumble forward for a couple. And the Blue Devils will start at their 45-yard line after a short punt of just 38 yards by Skylar DeLong. And there's a new sheriff in town for the Blue Devils. All you hear about Quentin Harris replacing Daniel Jones is the leadership factor. He has that.
No, there's no question. Off the field, Quentin Harris is one of the most respected players on this Duke team. He had a close relationship with Daniel Jones. The question is, can he operate under this immense amount of pressure in this situation?
5th-year senior should not be rattled. On the ground, it's Deion Jackson for a loss. Get to our Chick-fil-A impact players, Todd.
Oh, these wide receivers, we've talked about it. One of the deepest, most talented groups in the country. Jerry Jeudy is the leader of the group. He's not the fastest, he's not the biggest, but he's one of the best route runners you'll ever see as a young guy. And
pitch to Jackson. Picks up about 5. Anthony Jennings, the stop for Bama. 3rd down, Todd.
And on this side of the ball, we're talking about the running backs. So important. Deion Jackson, Britton Brown for Duke. They have got to play huge roles in this game. Not just carrying the ball, but also moving out in the slot and creating some of the mismatches against those two true freshman starting linebackers on the inside for Alabama.
Grease, they got Deion Jackson split out top of your screen.
He can do that. Tremendous receiver. He's the leading receiver on this team from a year ago.
3rd and 6. Harris to throw. Little check down to Jackson. Falls incomplete. And it's a 3 and out. Shane Lee had the pressure there. He's the replacement for Dylan Moses.
Yeah, Shane Lee, you're wondering how is he going to do in this environment. And on that first 3rd down, he wasn't fooled. They played a little bit of zone defense. Expect that from Nick Saban. When you lose the leadership of Dylan Moses, don't ask true freshmen to do too much. Play a vanilla defense, come up, break on the ball, and they get off the field.
Austin Parker, 5th-year senior, in punt formation for Duke. Interesting protection here. Got 6 seconds to snap it. Ball just shy of midfield. There's a flag down already. Jalen Waddle is back for Bama. Called for a fair catch at the 12-yard line. Our referee is Dan Capron. The officiating crew from the Big Ten will tell you that Rogers Redding is in the booth with us, the national coordinator of officials. Don't cheat him on that last S on Rogers.
Great to have Rogers in the booth. Happy
Illegal
New Year.
formation. The kicking team had 5 members of their team in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty would be tacked on to the succeeding spot.
So the illegal formation on Duke. Better field position for Bama. 2nd possession for Tua and company when we come back.
Welcome back to Atlanta. No score between Alabama and Duke, and the Chick-fil-A impact players today. May have tipped my hand a little bit earlier, but Jerry Jeudy at the wide receiver position. Watch him in the slot a lot. They're going to try to move him around. The matchup he's going to have is against Michael Carter, who's an athletic, 5'10", 185-pound safety who can play in the nickel as well. I don't think they're going to play a lot of man-to-man. I think it's going to be a lot of zone guys, but Jerry Jeudy, to me, is the best route runner of any receiver in all of the country.
No debate there.
What a wide receiver room they have. Jerome Ford on the ground, initiating the contact. Able to crash into Michael Carter right there.
I think, Todd, that they have to play a little man-to-man. You cannot just play zone. McNamara needs to mix it up. Done a great job early in this game confusing Tagovailoa.
Again, it's Ford, try on the right side. Hit at the line, the football came out. Duke says they have it, let's see. Trey Hornbuckle has come up with the football. One of the Duke captains, and the early turnover goes the way of the Blue Devils. Dylan Singleton punched it free.
Nick Saban decides to discipline Najee Harris and Brian Robinson, and so Jerome Ford gets the start, and he gets that ball poked out. It looked like Serenord came through and got a big paw on that football. Great play by Serenord, and Nick Saban's thinking, that's the cost, right? That's the cost of disciplining my starting 2 tailbacks.
And if you're Duke, you're not going to get many shots. This has got to be the opportunity that you take advantage of early in the game. Send a message. It can't be 3. This has got to be 7.
On the ground. That's Mateo Durant. Gets the ball carry, his first of the game. Bring up a 2nd down.
You know, Jerome Ford is a redshirt freshman, and he didn't expect to be thrown into this situation. Obviously, he loves and would love to have this situation to carry the football. We don't know how long Najee Harris is going to be out. I would be surprised if he's out any much longer.
2nd down and 5.
On the triple option, Beeps. We didn't quite know what without Daniel Jones, what this offense was going to look like. David Cutcliffe has a history, right? When Peyton Manning left Tennessee, they went on and won the national championship with T. Martin, right? You had to change the offense. So what does Quentin Harris do best? Right now he thinks it's calming himself down, running the football, being effective, giving Alabama something they never thought they would be preparing for, running the triple option.
3rd and 5. Big play, as McShay says, can't settle for 3 here. Gave it to the first man through. It's Durant, and he's got the first down. Looks like Alabama's guessing a little bit early.
Well, there's no way that Alabama could have been ready to play the triple option, right? Like, this is old school, B back, C back, and A back, 3 backs in the backfield, and Quentin Harris under center operating the option. This looks like Georgia Tech with the 2 wing backs.
Harris will keep it himself for a couple. Runs into the front of that Alabama defensive line. And, you know, the veterans, if they were in there for Alabama, if they had their guys like Dylan Moses, even they might be surprised. Then you compound that with the youngsters.
Right, when you have those two freshman linebackers, Shane Lee and Christian Harris, you see Pete Golding tried to, I guarantee you they weren't practicing against the option in practice. I was watching practice. They weren't doing it, okay? But this goes to David Cutcliffe. You know, how good he is as a coach, that he's able to put something like this in. I don't think they'll do it the whole game, but it's a good changeup.
2nd down and 8 from the 14. Harris gonna loft one, end zone, it is incomplete. Nearly brought down by Jalen Calhoun in double coverage. Gerard Maiden was there.
That's a really good throw. Calhoun was in position. He had 2 hands on the ball. I'm standing right here 5 yards away from him. He almost made that play. It would have been huge, obviously, for this Duke offense. But listen, when we talked to David Cutcliffe, he said, and he's aware, he knows just like everybody who's watching this game now, they're overmatched physically. He said, we've got to out-scheme them, we've got to out-formation them, and so far, that's what they're doing offensively.
5 touchdown underdog, give or take, coming into this one. On the ground, Deion Jackson right up the middle. He's going to be short. Shaheen Carter made the stop before the imaginable yellow marker.
Great blocking up front. Gray, the tight end, with a great crackback block, brings up a 4th down, and I 1,000% agree with this decision to go for it here on 4th and short.
Let's go. Welcome back, college football. And he didn't get there. The Bama defense stands tall.
Great job right up the middle. You're going to see here's Shane Lee right here. He's not going to get blocked. It's a nice job by the defensive line taking 2 blockers, and there's nobody left to get to the 2nd level for Lee. Ultimately, Alabama turns the football over, gives great field position to Duke. They get a completely different look than they were expecting with the option looks, but this is Alabama, right? They adjust physically up front, they take over, and they keep Duke from getting any points.
And Bama's true freshmen are still all 4- and 5-star guys, and they'll pick it up pretty quickly. So nothing to show on the turnover. Tagovailoa comes out throwing. We welcome Jerry Jeudy to the game for 1st down yardage. Forced out of bounds by Josh Blackwell.
They've kept Jerome Ford in at running back, but enough is enough. It's time to get number 4 going in this football game.
Exactly 10 on the play. Matt Womack is moved up to right guard in place of Landon Dickerson. Dickerson can also play some center. We'll watch for that. 1st down and 10 now. From the Bama 17. Ford still in there. Play fake. Some pressure. Tagovailoa going to load up and take a shot for Jeudy. Nothing doing. Josh Blackwell had the coverage.
The problem with having Jerome Ford in there is there's no sting to the play action. You see the defense, that's Blackwell. He's not going for the play fake, knowing that they want to get the ball to Jerry Jeudy. So he's running out of there with one purpose in mind. Don't let Jerry Jeudy get behind me.
And Brian, Tua's best trait is his deep ball accuracy. He was just falling off balance on that last throw.
2nd down and 10 upcoming. We should point out no Mark Gilbert for Duke, their best cornerback. Likely done for the season following left hip surgery.
We'll delay a game here.
Yep, 0s on the play clock.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
One of the things I've noticed early for Tua in this football game is he's using a dummy snap count. He wants to identify what Duke is doing on the defensive side. Then he's looking to the sideline to Sark to help him make these checks. You can do that. That's fine if you're in the no huddle, but you have to keep awareness of the play clock.
2nd and 15 now after the penalty from the 12. Quick drop and throw and complete. Jalen Waddle making people miss. Jalen Waddle with yards after the catch. And he's out to the 40. Kobe Kwanzaa eventually got there, but not until it was a big gain. Ripped off 30 yards on the play.
They're going to get a hold here, Levy. There's a flag down right in the backfield. I think they're going to get the center, Chris Owens, for a takedown.
All the way back at the 9 is where the flag is.
Offense, number 79. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat second down.
Yeah, and this wasn't really necessary here, right? He's going to get the blitzing linebacker as he comes through. There's a defensive end, and he just throws him down. And anytime an official, an umpire sees an offensive lineman turn and throw somebody down, they're going to throw that flag. It looked like he tripped, but just unnecessary.
Wipes out the 30-yard gain.
That's a question for this offense. The loss of Ross Pierschbacher from a year ago, who was an outstanding center. Owens has to step up.
So it's 2nd and 21 now from the 6. Quick throw right back to Waddle, and he's trying to get it all back. Kwanzaa got there from behind to take him down. It's a gain of 16, gets half of the yardage.
Last drive in a 3rd down situation, Duke decided to bring some zone pressure, trying to confuse Tagovailoa. They got to him. See if they decide to dial up another pressure situation here. Right now, it looks like man-to-man with one free safety.
Ford remains in the backfield. The redshirt freshman who coughed up the football earlier. 3rd and 5, pressure coming. Out for Judy, and he's got the first down and wanting more down the sideline. Jerry Judy's 2nd grab, gain of 11.
Smart play there from Tua. You identified man coverage. First thing I'm going to do if I'm a quarterback, find number 4 in red, and wherever he's going, I'm going to give him a chance. And that time, he made Michael Carter look like he was on skates.
Kwanzaa out. Brandon Hill checks in. We'll keep an eye on the thumb for Kwanzaa, who's been heavily involved to this point. See the numbers on Tagovailoa, 4 of 5. Do I hear 5 of 6? I do. It's Judy again. He's going the wrong way. Now he turns it upfield and slips down on that Bama sideline.
This is a patent West Coast route right here. You're going to see 2 crosses in front and then Jerry Judy behind. They didn't run this route a year ago. This is the influence of Steve Sarkisian getting his best player into the game after turning the football over on the last drive.
Wholesale changes you see for that Duke defense. Judy's got 3 catches for 35. Got 14 on the last play. 1st down and 10, approaching midfield now. That's Ruggs in motion. Give it to him. Henry Ruggs, the fastest man on the field. Just across midfield. Molly.
Understandably, Steve, Jerome Ford was devastated after he fumbled that football, but Najee Harris had an arm around him, never left his side here on the sideline and said, "You will be okay, get out of your head, we need you." So just some early jitters for that young running back, Steve.
As you would expect, Molly, thank you. 2nd down and 5. That's Forrestal to block right, looking left, and Judy wasn't looking. Miscommunication between the quarterback and the receiver.
So Steve Sarkisian is going to call some plays that have run. It's a run play, and he's going to tell Tua and he's going to tell Jerry Judy, listen, if there's a good look of off coverage there, I'm going to throw you the hitch route, right? So Judy's got to run the hitch. It's got to be communicated from Tua. First game of the season, you're going to expect some of those miscommunications.
8th play of the drive coming up. Still scoreless with 5 to go in the 1st quarter, and that will surprise some. That's Forrestal, the tight end, in motion. Pressure. Tagovailoa gets away, and now he'll take off. He's got the 1st down and won't absorb a hit. Runs out of bounds. Shaka Hayward was running him down. Gain of 9.
A lot of what's overlooked with Tua Tagovailoa is his mobility. Shaka Hayward has him dead to rights, and he just doesn't break down. He thinks he's going to take a shot, and Tagovailoa doesn't panic, steps up, and releases outside for a 1st down.
Kwanzaa's back in there. Play action. Tagovailoa takes a hit as he throws and couldn't loft it up high enough for Ruggs. And if Ruggs can't run under it, nobody can.
Well, Ruggs couldn't run under that one, but Jalen Waddle had run right by the defense, right down the middle of the field. Tagovailoa didn't see him. Normally, when you have those two receiver routes on one side of the field, you look at the inside first to Waddle and then go outside, and Tua just skipped him.
Judy will take a breather. John Mechie, true freshman, has checked in. More pressure from Duke. Quick toss is completed. That is John Mechie, the freshman from Brampton, Ontario, who was born in Taiwan, moved to Ghana, and then to Canada from age 6 through high school. Gets a grab. He's on the board, 5 yards.
Right off the bat, I think you see from this Duke defense, they don't want to give up the big play, right? That's what Alabama did so well last year, all year long. So they're staying soft on the outside. They're going to give you the out route, the hitch route, come up and make the tackle. They just don't want to give the big play.
Judy's back in there. Pitch to Ford. Duke's there and ready to meet the challenge. Brandon Hill, the hard stick, and it's 4th down.
Great job by Brandon Hill. Played a lot on this defense. They had so many injuries a year ago. So he's played a lot of football, even though he's in a backup role tonight. And I think Alabama's going to kick a field goal here. That goes to show you the respect that they have, at least early in this game, without Najee Harris to run the football of converting on 4th and short.
Will Reichard is the kicker. The freshman, the true freshman from Hoover. His first college attempt. This will be from 49 yards away. And it's off the upright and no good. Bama does not struggle in too many aspects, but the place kicking game has been a bit of a problem. So they go to Reichard. And from 49, his welcome to college football. We'll be telling that story. Clank, still scoreless.
The Chick-fil-A Kickoff on ABC is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
You got to be something pretty special to have a statue in Tuscaloosa and a stadium someplace else named after you, like in Durham. As head coach Wallace Wade led Alabama to its first 3 national championships. Then at Duke, he became the winningest coach in program history, led them to 110 wins, 6 conference championships. The Blue Devils Stadium renamed Wallace Wade Stadium in 1967.
That's an unbelievable story. So cool to read the history of Wallace Wade, and I know David Cutcliffe has so much respect for him and what he did. But it's a unique story, the tie between these two programs.
Britton Brown, his first carry. They'll run Brown and Jackson in there at the same time. And Raekwon Davis makes the stop for Alabama, number 99 in crimson.
My favorite part of that Wallace Wade story was in 1941, Duke was 5-0 and they were scheduled to play in the Rose Bowl. But because of Pearl Harbor on December 7th, they couldn't play at the Rose Bowl. They relocated the Rose Bowl game to Duke, the stadium at Duke. Bet you didn't know that the Rose Bowl game was played at Duke one time.
I'm not sure anybody else knew that either. Good job, right up the middle. Britton Brown puts a foot in the dirt for the artificial turf. You get the idea. Xavier McKinney brought him down, but not until he had 16.
Duke has got to get Britton Brown and Deion Jackson going in the run game to take pressure off of Quentin Harris. A huge gaping hole in that Alabama defense.
Hey, Duke's had really good starting field position in their 3rd possession now, trying to make something happen. 1st down and 10. It's Brown again, not that time.
I don't think you can underestimate the fact that Quinnen Williams is not on this football team for Alabama. Okay, we all know what kind of player he was. DJ Dale is a true freshman. We talked about the linebackers, but they also have a true freshman replacing Quinnen Williams. He's number 94. He's going to be a great player, a physical specimen, but he's just young.
He was the talk of the spring for Alabama. 6'3", 308, true freshman from Pinson, Alabama. On the ground, right back to Brown. Pick up about 5 or 6. Anthony Jennings, the stop, 5th-year senior. for Alabama, making the tackle.
Going up against that true freshman is a seasoned veteran for Duke at center, and Jack Wallaball. He's their best offensive lineman. He was a transfer from Ohio State. You know that they are confident that there's no mismatch. Despite Duke versus Alabama, there's no mismatch at the center position for them.
Comes from good stock. Dad Dave, an excellent offensive lineman in the NFL. As flags fly, we'll check the marker. Dave Wollenbach played 9 years in the league. New England, Cleveland, St. Louis.
False start. Offense. Number 63 and others. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So that's Jacob Monk. Monk is a true freshman. Arrived in January. How would you like your first game to be here in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Alabama as a true freshman?
That just goes to show you how much confidence they have in him, because that is not the start you want to have to your career.
Speaking of that, the protection breaks down, and Harris throwing it away. Xavier McKinney got to Quentin Harris.
McKinney lined up right behind the defensive end. He's almost hiding over here on the left side of the screen, and he just comes at the very last moment. You can see Britton Brown knew he was responsible for him. This is not on Quentin Harris. That's on number 8, Britton Brown, and he takes a big shot.
So we mentioned Monk, the true freshman. Casey Holman, who's starting at left tackle. It's his first college start, too. Something to watch for. Austin Parker back for his second punt. Puts it in the air. Not going to scrape the roof. Waddle will run away from it, and it'll be into the end zone for a touchback. Josh Blackwell nearly got there in time. This will be a surprise around the country, I think. Latter stages of the first quarter, still scoreless, Duke and Bama. Duke's had great starting field position. Their 3 possessions. One of the times because of this Jerome Ford fumble. The redshirt freshman, the lack of experience, fumbles the football, turning it over to Duke. We are still waiting to see Najee Harris and Brian Robinson, 2 of the 4 veteran players who are suspended or disciplined, however you want to call it, and have yet to see action here. Ford continues to grind away. Brandon Hill comes up to make the stop after the 7-yard gain. Here are the 4 players disciplined, and this is not anything, like the event itself is not recent. Alabama knew this was coming. This was an event that the players missed, a team event, way back in camp. Only the story came out this week.
Yeah, and I give Nick Saban credit. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He knows how he's going to get the attention of his football team. Listen, after what happened at the end of last year in the national championship game, every single player on this team was listening to Nick Saban, right? He told us last night he felt like at the end of last year, guys, they lost their humility. And then because they lost that humility, they lost their attention to detail and doing things the right way. So something happens in the offseason, and for your top guys, these are all starters, are going to be disciplined. And I give him credit for sticking to it.
And I would say also, with that suspension and discipline, probably didn't expect to be in a 0-0 game going to the second quarter against Duke. We shall see. From the here's something you don't see every day department, how about this? Bama had 1 scoreless first quarter last season. That was here in the SEC championship game against Georgia. Steve Levy, Brian Greasy, Todd McShay, Molly McGrath as we get ready to open up quarter number 2.
First time for Najee Harris in the ball game. Looks like that suspension was for 1 quarter, and now he's in the game.
Fake to Harris. Now they'll throw it to him. This looks like it's coming back. There's a flag down as Harris will continue to run. Najee Harris down the sideline. And we think it's coming back.
Wow, what a momentum changer there. First play into the game, you just get him a little swing route. You see the athleticism and the speed, but Nick Saban incredulous on the left tackle.
Holding. Offense. Number 73. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's a true freshman. Evan Neal wipes out a 53-yard welcome to the game from Najee Harris.
Yeah, and it's clearly a hold. Chris Rumpf, the defensive tackle, is getting around him. Chris Rumpf's only 225 pounds. Evan Neal is 360 pounds. So the quickness advantage goes to Rumpf, and Neal was just not ready for it.
Hey, Grease, how do you know the suspension or discipline was over as opposed to sign of the way this thing's going and Bama needs some help running the football?
It wasn't going well the whole first quarter, right? And Nick Saban doesn't want to be in a 0-0 game with Duke. Jerome Ford fumbles the ball. If he wasn't suspended, they would have come in right after the fumble.
1st and 20 after the penalty. Tagovailoa hands it straight to Harris. He'll pick and choose his spots and get out to the 29-yard line. Set for an update. Say happy football season to Cassidy Hubbard. All right, Cass, good to be with you all season long. Devontae Smith, he's also back from suspension and discipline and in the game and making an impact up against Dylan Singleton.
I think the big story so far through a quarter and change has been inexperience. I mean, you talk about the defensive front at nose tackle, true freshman, the 2 inside linebackers, true freshmen. You just saw the huge penalty there on the left guard, number 73, Evan Neal, and then the fumble from the young running back as well in Jerome Ford. So as talented as Alabama is, I think the big reason that Duke is still in this game at this point is because of the inexperience of the Crimson Tide.
3rd down and 3. Tagovailoa throwing and completing to Smith. Forward progress will have enough. It's a gain of 4. Michael Carter brought him down. You saw Landon Dickerson had to leave. His helmet came off.
I agree with Todd, but I also want to give some credit to this Duke defense. Remember a year ago, we did the game where they played against Clemson, and it was a 7-6 game almost up till halftime. Clemson scored a late touchdown to go up 14-6, but this defense did not back down from them, and they're not backing down today.
Quick toss to Smith. And he will initiate contact and be thrown out of bounds by Marquise Waters, but not until he had another 1st down. Or didn't get it. Let's see. Got a yard shy, maybe, the spot. Call it 9.
Hard physical tackle by Waters. You saw a tackle from Michael Carter on the previous play. Duke is not backing down. They have veteran off defensive line, veteran linebackers, and veterans all over this defense.
Coach Cutcliffe said he was the most excited about this defense as he has been in his 12 years. Bit of a delay, and Harris stumbles forward, didn't get there. Back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 1 upcoming at midfield.
There's not a lot of movement right in the middle of that offensive line for Alabama. You've got Edgar Serenord, that time Drew Jordan, who's a backup defensive lineman, mostly a pass rusher, but he's fighting in there in running situations and bring up another 3rd and short.
Hey, no, Deontay Brown is the starter at left guard, but he has been suspended by the NCAA 6 games, so he's got 4 more. On 3rd and 1, Harris gets just enough. Brown's suspension cost him the semifinal and the championship game a year ago, then the first 4 games of this season.
We've seen a lot of run on 1st and 2nd down for Alabama. Once you cross midfield, you get a 1st down. This is the area of the field where you love to go play action to Jerry Jeudy. Here he is right here over the top.
That's Jeudy in motion. Tagovailoa wanted to take a deep shot. Now he's running out of trouble. And he will slide down at the 42. And you see Marquise Waters get his hands up really quickly, as if to say, hey, that was not a late hit on the quarterback. No
Great
flags on the field.
Great coverage downfield. It was the play action, hard play action. He wanted Devontae Smith, but the secondary, Marquise Waters, Dylan Singleton, Leonard Johnson weren't biting on the fake. And because Alabama hasn't been successful running the ball, there's no sting on the play action against Duke.
Good look at Jerry Jeudy, 11th play of the drive upcoming. Play action, get it to Jeudy. 1st down and more to the 27-yard line.
If Duke's going to play soft, then you got to get Jerry Jeudy involved in other ways. Give him the ball in handoffs. Give him the ball in little nakeds, down flats, whatever you can do, quick outs. He's got to touch the ball at least 15 to 20 times in every single ball game Alabama plays.
This is the best field position of Alabama so far in the game. That will surprise people too with 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Harris selling the fake again. Across the middle of the tight end. Miller Forrestall. Will he get there? Touchdown. Bama on the board. Miller Forrestall for 27 yards from Tua Tagovailoa, capping an 80-yard drive.
They tried play action to Devontae Smith. They tried it to Jerry Jeudy, but Duke was ready for it. What they weren't ready for was the tight end off play action hard, and Forrestall went right down the middle of the field.
Here's Reichard. The true freshman missed a kick off the upright, but the extra point is good.
We haven't even talked about the loss of Irv Smith, the great tight end from a year ago. Nobody knows the name of Miller Forrestall, so you can understand why he would creep down the middle unguarded.
Miller Forrestall, the 7th different receiver already for Alabama today. We joke on many of our inside jokes, Grease, but everybody was a quarterback in high school. Forrestall was a quarterback at Cartersville High School until another young kid showed up by the name of Trevor Lawrence. And Forrestall said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to play quarterback here anymore. Hey, tight end sounds good. Forrestall is on the board for Alabama.
Go back and take another look at the touchdown. He's going to slide underneath. He's tight end number 87. He just comes down again. He runs into Devontae Smith. That slows him down. But you don't expect as a defense for a tight end to run a seam down the middle after he lined up on the right side and come all the way over to the left side. And then he makes a nice move to finish off and get in the end zone.
Tua on that drive. Impressive 5 of 5 for 74 yards. Seven 0 Bama, 10 to go in the first half. Starting at the 25, this is the worst starting field position for Duke to this point. Deion Jackson couldn't get there. Quick coverage there by Alabama's defense, led by Christian Harris. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, recognizing those who strive to rise above the rest. Goodyear, more driven.
The pressure is squarely back on Quentin Harris now. They played admirably on defense, but how long can they hold up against the Alabama offense? They've got to get some production and points on offense.
Harris is yet to hit on a pass, so give it to his wide receiver, Jalen Calhoun. True freshman, former high school quarterback, of course, like everybody else. Gain of 2 on the play.
What do you have against quarterbacks?
I'm just saying, every single player at this level, seemingly, defensive linemen here are former high school quarterbacks.
That's because they're smart.
I got
it. They know how to run routes because they know what the quarterback wants to see.
They're all high school quarterbacks, and they've all been coached by their dads. It's amazing.
If you're a coach's son or a former high school quarterback, Levy just doesn't like you.
Yeah.
Let's get Molly up to speed on the inside jokes. Here comes a sack. Terrell Lewis. His discipline time is over as well. Quentin Harris feels the pain.
This is a sight for sore eyes for Alabama fans. Terrell Lewis, after 2 years of being injured, first drive back in this game off of his suspension for the first quarter, and you see the talent level. That stunt right there is made for Terrell Lewis to make the play.
Grease, he looks different. I mean, he is an absolute physical freak. And I know he hasn't played a lot of football, but you go back and you watch from 2017, the flashes. If he can have a full season this year, top 10 pick. He's that talented.
He reminds me of Javon Curse. That's scary.
Austin Parker gets it away. Waddle drifting back to the 24. Fair catch. Fine punt. 57-yard punt by Austin Parker. That's what Duke needed as momentum starts to spin the way of the heavily favored Crimson Tide. 7-0 Bama.
The Chick-fil-A kickoff on ABC is brought to you by Pacific Life. 150 years strong. Protection and retirement solutions for your future.
After that Alabama touchdown, Duke's defensive coaches said if you're going to take down the big dogs, you're going to get punched in the mouth. You need to fight back. Time to respond, and you know they're trying to go outside. Stay on their toes because there's an opportunity there. Steve.
Molly, thank you. Watch for that. Bama with the lead for the first time. And their best starting field position. And it's not very good. Waddle's going to flip the field right here all by himself. Jalen Waddle staying on his feet. Eventually, Hayward and Kwanzaa able to bring him down. 38 yards on the play.
You got to get that ball in the hands of these wide receivers. And Jalen Waddle, he hasn't touched the ball a whole lot early in this game. It's been more the Jerry Jeudy show, but you see the talent, you see the elusiveness and the speed. All four of these receivers are game breakers.
And that's what Waddle does so well. I mean, he has 19 yards per catch last year, 15 yards per punt return last year. And this guy can make plays when you just get him the ball, short yardage situation.
Todd, you probably couldn't see it, but they're working on what looked like his left shoulder right back to Jerry Jeudy.
It looks like he made it come down hard on that left shoulder. We'll keep an eye on that. This is the end of the play when he goes down. Watch his left shoulder. Right there, and Big Serenord comes down the defensive tackle on top of him.
Dylan Singleton got the worst of that collision. See the numbers on Waddle, and his numbers will be a lot better. Ripped off one for 50, was called back because of a penalty. 2nd down and 1.
See Jerry Jeudy come over and ask how Waddle's doing. These guys are close. All four of these receivers care deeply about each other. It's really cool to see.
Harris on the ground. Don't think he got there. Should be up a 3rd and 1. Shaka Hayward makes the stop. You think about the wide receivers, the diva group of every football team, and they really seem to be all about themselves as a group, collectively, not individually.
You don't see that very often, especially at that position. You think about the NFL, you think about the divas, Antonio Browns of the world, right? But this team, these four are unique in that they work as a unit, and if they succeed, they all succeed together.
Brian Robinson get his first touch and should have the first down by inches.
In the last 2 years, we've spent a lot of time talking to these receivers, whether it's Henry Ruggs or recently last week Jerry Jeudy. They legitimately love each other. It's crazy. You never see it. You've got Jeudy, who's going to be a top 5 pick. Ruggs is going to be a first-round pick. Devontae Smith is going to be a draft pick if he leaves early. Jalen Waddle's not eligible, but he's going to be a draft pick 2 years from now. So just to watch how unselfish they are, it really is a special group.
Coming up on 6 minutes to play in the half. Some pressure coming. It's picked up nicely. Tagovailoa hits Devontae Smith. Makes a move inside the 10. And he is punished and pushed forward inside the 5-yard line.
We've seen the ball go to Jalen Waddle, Jerry Jeudy on quick passes. Now this one goes to Devontae Smith. This is a staple of Steve Sarkisian's offense. He's going to run crossers, try to get him open and get him the ball quick.
Here's Robinson. Goal line. Got there. Touchdown, Alabama.
Great effort here from Robinson. His first opportunity on this drive to get in ball game. Looks like his knee was on top of a hand. I think that's a good call, and that official was right there down the line with a great look at it. His knee would have gone down, but it was on top of Shaka Hayward's hand. They're going to take another look at this.
The ruling on the field was a touchdown. That ruling is under further review.
Right there, the right knee. It's hard to tell you. I think that was a good call, and I don't think there's enough evidence to overturn that call based on what we can see.
I agree. He comes right down on the forearm. That's clean living right there. You come on down just on a forearm, and that should count as a touchdown.
Impressive drive there from Alabama. Running the football, the quick passing game to Judy, to Devontae Smith, to Jalen Waddle. You know, when you start to, you open this game, if you're Alabama and you're a 0-0 tie after one quarter, and Nick Saban says, let's get the ball in the hands of our playmakers, take over this football game, and they did it on the last two drives. I guess you can look and say there might be doubt that the knee hit the ground, but you can't see it because of the hand. And based on the ruling on the field, I think he's going to have to stand.
The runner's knee was down with the ball at the 1/2 yard line, where it will be Alabama's ball, 2nd down and goal.
Conclusive evidence, clearly.
Yeah. I thought you have to have conclusive evidence to overturn that ruling on the field.
Rogers Redding, talk to me.
Well, it may be that they had another look from another angle. On that look, like you said, it's hard to tell whether the knee was down or not. But they may have had another look, but they felt like that they had enough to overturn it and or to confirm it as a touchdown.
All right, we're being told there were no other looks. So they must have seen something else. Mac Jones is in the backfield, but they give it to Robinson for the score. Touchdown, a no doubt about it score that time. Running behind Mac Jones, the backup quarterback. And it's 14 points in less than 5 minutes for Alabama. Scoring drives of 80 and 76 yards, respectively. Reichert boots it through.
Only a matter of time. His knee was down on the first one, but running behind that big right side, Jedrick Wills, a block by Cahoe, the backup linebacker, gets him in the end zone.
If you're wondering why Mac Jones didn't even break a sweat there blocking for that touchdown, that's because Alabama's got 2 number 10s, among the many things we love about college football. Let's give credit where credit is due. The Will linebacker, Ali Cahoe, came in to block, leading to that Brian Robinson touchdown. So now we've cleaned up that little matter. You can see number 10 in the middle of your screen on the kick return coverage. Cahoe, not Jones.
You know, backup quarterbacks do a lot of things. They typically don't lead fullback play on the goal line leaving.
They hold, they don't block.
So that might have given you a tip as to who that was. It's, you know, early. It's the first season.
Oh, yeah. You know, we'll come across 3 or 4 teams with, 3 or 4 same guys with different guys, same number.
Greasy's always got all the answers, right?
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah,
Thank you,
got
Todd.
you, bud.
Replay never lies.
The film never lies. 5th possession for Duke now. And the flip. Britton Brown trying to get something and sort of slow the momentum now that Alabama has.
I'm a little surprised David Cutcliffe hasn't gotten the football to Deion Jackson a little bit more. He's their most dynamic playmaker. Britton Brown's a good back, but he's not the same kind of a playmaker. That's the one advantage that they have against these young linebackers of Alabama.
Brown again, trying to push the pile, bring up a 3rd down and short. Tonight, as we watch one Heisman hopeful, another Heisman hopeful will be in action. Justin Herbert and 11th ranked Oregon take on number 16 Auburn from AT&T Stadium. 7:30 Eastern, right here on ABC, streaming on the ESPN app. That's Herbert. The other quarterback's pretty interesting too. That's Bo Nix.
Yeah.
In start for Auburn.
And it's going to be interesting to watch that front today, too. You've got 4 NFL offensive linemen for Oregon and 3 defensive linemen for Auburn that are going to be NFL players as well. It's a loaded group.
Harris, looked like there was some confusion there. Not even close to picking up the 1st down.
It looked like they wanted to run the option, and Quentin Harris saw a hole and in short yardage thought he could get the necessary yardage, but nowhere to go. And right now, this offense really has no identity. They came out and ran the option on one drive after the turnover. Outside of that, they haven't been able to get anything going against Alabama's defense.
They're starting to wear out Austin Parker. Waddle, the big play player, is back for Bama, standing at his own 20. It's a high, short kick. Waddle will run up and call the fair catch. About the 33-yard line. That's a punt of just 34 yards by Austin Parker. Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta played host to the most recent Super Bowl back on February the 3rd. Wasn't the most thrilling of Super Bowls. Patriots a winner, 13-3. Some of these spectacular features and views of this stadium, just over 2 years old. It's already hosted some huge college football games. And looking closely for Molly in there. Did you see Molly? I hadn't seen her in some time. Her and McShay are hanging out in the Mercedes-Benz Lounge. Back to work, you two. Henry Ruggs is back to work. And his Alabama offense very close to the first down marker. Leonard Johnson made the stop.
Steve, I'm out here hustling. You're up there in an air-conditioned booth. It's a little warm down here on the field. I'm running around in heels. Give me a break.
72 imperfects. Right up here.
Isn't this place air-conditioned?
Thought so.
Oh, all right.
Wasn't the brochure.
I don't know why, Levy, but she's hiding from me. I haven't seen her all night.
Can't explain. Welcome to the club. Oh, tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Harris looked like, and he tapped the Forresto on the shoulder pad. That's friendly fire. 3rd and 1.
Starting to see this Alabama offense get into a rhythm. They've got all their weapons now back out there. Both backs, they're substituting. They've gotten the receivers into the game. They've made a switch at left guard. They took the true freshman Evan Neal out and put Emil Ekiyor in there. So Steve Sarkisian starting to call them all the plays on offense.
3rd down and 1. Not going to happen this time. Brian Robinson is dropped by Trayvon McSwain for a loss of 2.
Just talked about Emil Ekiyor replacing Evan Neal at the left guard position. He's number 55. He just gets beat inside by Serenor. That's bad. That's bad technique on 3rd and short. And that's why Evan Neal started the game, because he's a much bigger physical presence. And Ekiyor gives it up, and they don't get the first down.
Serenor's a good story for Duke. Granted a 6th year of eligibility after surgery, after he ruptured his right Achilles in October of 18. Just the 2nd punt of the night for Alabama. Fair catch from Josh Blackwell. It's a punt of 41 yards for Skylar DeLong. 14-0 Bama. Take a look at today's Pacific Life game summary. And when you look at the numbers, might be surprised it's not worse than 14-0 for Duke.
Yeah, well, the longest completion for Quentin Harris is actually 2 feet. So, and that was a little pop pass to Deion Jackson. So, you know, it's unfair to put these two guys up against each other, right? One has a lot more talent around him than the other. But Tua Tagovailoa and the offense started slow, but they've picked it up in the 2nd quarter. And Quentin Harris is still trying to find his footing.
Opportunity here for Duke. 1:22 left. Harris will keep it. Stay on his feet. Is dragged down. 2nd and short. Duke has all 3 timeouts. And Duke did defer to start the game, which I thought was somewhat interesting. So Blue Devils will get the football to start the 2nd half. Harris to throw. Take a deep shot. Got a man. It is caught. Scott Bracey. What a grab. By far the longest pass play in the game for Duke. Good for 34.
Yeah, great job by Bracey. 6'2", 210 pounds. He's been making these plays all during fall camp. That ball is perfectly thrown right on Trevon Diggs, the best corner for Alabama.
Harris looking to run out of there. He'll just get past the line of scrimmage and a timeout with 44 seconds left. Duke lost their top 4 receivers from a season ago, and their best receiver is Jake Bobo, and he's out with a clavicle injury.
Yeah, TJ Ramming, Jonathan Lloyd, two of the best receivers in the ACC a year ago, and working with Daniel Jones, that's what really made this Duke team hard to defend. But a different offense this year, obviously, with Quentin Harris. They need some of these younger wide receivers like Bracey, Jalon Calhoun, and Harding to step up on the opposite side of Aaron Young.
The news on Bobo isn't all bad. They expect he's going to miss the first 2 games of the season, but at least they'll get their best receiver back. Duke had 31 passing touchdowns last season. That was a school record. Of those 31, only 6 of the receivers who caught 6 of those 31 returned back this season. 2nd down and 8. Harris has good protection for the end zone, and the flag comes in. Looking for Aaron Young. Josh Jobe never turned around.
Pass interference. Defense number 28. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Great idea. Just go up to your best receiver. We just talked about Aaron Young. Take a shot, and Josh Jobe is there, and it's very clearly pass interference. And a great job by the right tackle. This is the right tackle, the true freshman Monk. Look at him on Terrell Lewis. That's a heck of a job on one of the best players in college football.
Here's Harris in some rhythm now, underneath for Jackson, and he is dragged down, importantly inbounds. Gain of 4.
A big-time play by Shane Lee, getting Jackson down inbounds. Jackson is the quickest of these backs, and if you let him get out of bounds, it's not a good thing. That was a great play by Lee.
Duke will spend their 2nd timeout. This week, Sunday Night Baseball has rookie slugger Pete Alonso and the Mets taking on Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Both teams fighting for a wild card spot. And then Monday night, before the NFL kicks into gear, Brian Kelly's number 9 Notre Dame will take on Louisville. Catch both games on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app.
Opportunity here for Quentin Harris right before half. You know, it hasn't gone the way you wanted it to, but you're down 2 scores. Get any kind of positive momentum. Field goal here. You got to be smart with the football. Take the shot if it's there, but don't give up the 3 points.
Only 1 timeout left. 29 seconds on the clock in the half. Harris quarterback draw. Shane Lee again was on it. And they'll have to spend their 3rd and final timeout.
It looks like every time he's dropping back, it's either get the ball out right away or start moving around, because you can see it's very evident. Terrell Lewis, number 24, the defensive end, who we've talked about, had a sack earlier in this game. He is forcing pressure early on basically every single passing snap.
Last time Terrell Lewis saw the field was in this stadium in a championship game. Of course, not playing last season.
Well, he's a difference maker. There's no question about it. You know, last year you could argue that there wasn't great pass rush from the edges for Alabama during the course of the season, but Terrell Lewis is certainly one of the top 2 or 3 edge pass rushers in college football. And the only question, can he stay healthy for the entire season?
The Bama defense a year ago gave up 322 yards per game, the most since Nick Saban's first year. There were holes. 3rd and 3 here. Fake to Calhoun. Harris going to throw for it. Not even close. 4th down.
Yeah, they were trying to isolate Noah Gray with play action hard. But it just didn't. There's lack of awareness here from Quentin Harris. You see 87, and he just throws the ball in the back of the end zone, but Gray never able to get off coverage. Nice job by Xavier McKinney.
Grease, the kicking story is interesting for Duke. A.J. Reed is on for a 30-yard field goal attempt. He has not had a single field goal attempt in the last 2 years. Bit of a redemption tour for him, and Reed able to boot it through. And so Duke gets on the board before halftime. And again, the Blue Devils will have the football to start the second half. We talked with Coach Cutcliffe and talked about moral victories, and he knew they were 5 touchdown underdogs coming into this one, but that's not their approach, that's not their attitude. This would be a measuring stick where they are. So at 14-3 approaching halftime.
It was very similar to the way they played Clemson a year ago. They were down 14-6 in that game. Now the second half got out of hand.
Right.
So, but this is a team, I think he was ready. He told us that the program at Duke was ready for this opportunity on this stage. Maybe a few years ago they might not have been ready, but they've been recruiting well. They've got seniors on the defensive side. They felt as good as he's ever felt about the lines of scrimmage, the offense and the defensive lines, and they've held their own tonight.
Another difference, I think, was from a season ago is they were mentally and physically exhausted against Clemson, right? They have had the entire offseason. They have been pointing towards Alabama all along. And, some of the suspension or discipline by Alabama maybe plays a role. Bama got off to a sluggish start here today. Nick Saban got his message across, and he's still out in front. Fair catch. That's Forrestall. Well, that's the first touchdown for Alabama. Make sure you stay tuned for the State Farm halftime report. Kevin Nagandi, Jonathan Vilma, and we'll officially welcome Mark Sanchez to the squad for the first time. State Farm halftime report coming up with the fellas in some 11 seconds of football time. See Harris getting some attention. What's the Duke take going to be here, Grease?
Well, I think,
feeling pretty good about themselves.
I don't think that's going to be what Coach Cut says in the locker room, no.
And that will do it. This will raise some eyebrows around the country when you see a halftime score. With Alabama leading Duke 14-3. And again, the Blue Devils will get the kick to start the second half. Down to Molly McGrath.
Thank you, Steve. Coach, some mistakes by some inexperienced players early on. How will you address that at the half?
Well, I think the only way they're going to get experience is to play. We got a couple penalties that canceled out explosive plays. We gave them the ball back when we got 2nd and 1, and they were able to get 3 points. So we just need to be a little cleaner in the execution of what we're doing all the way around, offense, defense. So we'll get it fixed.
How did your offense change when your suspended players came back into the game?
Not really. We didn't change the offense at all. Just had better players executing it, and I think they play with more confidence.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Steve.
Thoughts from Nick Saban for president, or definitely the greatest college football coach of all time? Both are fine positions to have. Send you to Kevin, Jonathan, Mark. Halftime coming up.
Welcome to the State Farm Halftime Report.
Welcome to the studio. Kevin Nagani alongside Jonathan Velma and Mark Sanchez. So if you go back since 2000, Northern Iowa, an FCS team, they have 4 wins against FBS teams. 3 of those wins coming up against Iowa State. And boy names, Cyclones in some trouble. Number 21 in the country opening up against Northern Iowa. And here we are in overtime. Watch this play. Northern Iowa down by 7. And Will McElvain keeping the play alive, Mark.
I love this scramble. It looks like a video game out there and just drops a dime to a wide open receiver in the corner. That was amazing.
Trevor Allen ties it up.
Yeah, he almost dropped it.
Guys, speaking of dropping, we got a drop right here. Iowa State down by 3, and Sheldon Croney fumbles the quarterback, Brock Purdy.
But look where Brock Purdy comes from. He's out of the screen right now. Look where he comes from. You talk about effort. Brock Purdy's coming from the right of the screen to get this ball. Look how he just dives in there. Man, you talk about giving it up, saving the day. And the ensuing touchdown.
Croney with redemption right there to run it in. Iowa State survives in 3 OTs to win by 3. Meanwhile, the debut of Justin Fields as a Buckeye with Ryan Day leading the squad, taking on FAU. What did you see from Fields on the ground?
Justin Fields on the ground, as impressive as we thought he would be. He came out as a dual-threat quarterback. I wanted to see, can Justin Fields throw the ball? And you know what? He did not disappoint, did he, Mark?
Oh, it was impressive through the air, all over the field, putting balls on guys deep down the field. passes over 20 yards. He had a high completion rate. That's impressive in your first debut. Some of these guys are just wide open, though.
Responsible for 5 touchdowns, most for a player in his OSU debut. They win 45-21. They face Cincinnati next weekend on ABC. Really the best game so far in the afternoon. Florida State hosting Boise State. The game moved to Tallahassee, noon start. James Blackman and this offense looked very good in the first half, Mark.
What a great throw down the field here. I thought Florida State was going to pull away with this. And here comes Boise State in the second half.
FSU up by 18, and then the true freshman, Hank Bachmeier. He showed you a lot here, Sanchez.
I am thoroughly impressed with this kid. He aired it out 51 times, completed 30 balls in his freshman debut. I mean, God, somebody get that kid some ice for his arm,
and
man.
Mark, you got to mention, he got beat up in this game now. He got hit, he got sacked, and then look at this turnover. That was the game right there. Jeez. As a defender, just fall on the football. Nothing is more important than the football. You can't
Don't get too cute. They try to scoop it up here, and they can't. Boise State recovers, and then Robert Mahone going in. It's now 33-31 Boise State, 36-31 now. 4th and 14 for Florida State. Blackman scrambling, and he stopped short. That's my move. Flag on the play on FSU, and that's the game.
I didn't love that last play. I want to get that ball in the air, give somebody an opportunity on 4th down to try and win the game.
Now, FSU blows an 18-point lead, and it's the first time since 1955 that Florida State scores at least 30 points in the first half, and then they're shut out in the second half. That is the offense for Florida State. You love what you saw from Boise State with their offense, especially in the second half. What did you see from this young man?
Second half offense and that quarterback play all game long. He got beat up in the first half. You talked about it, JV. It was incredible. He stands in the pocket. He's poised for his first game, delivers dimes down the field. I can't say enough good things about him. I'm impressed.
He was a high recruit coming in, and again, a true freshman on the road in Tallahassee. And for Willie Taggart, what heartbreak here in a situation like this. You're feeling good. You're up by 18 at home. What were the positives? What were the takeaways from a game like this for Florida State? Because the fan base is not happy.
Well, let's start with the first half. 31 points in the first half means what? They're very capable of putting points on the board. Then defensively, they had 3 takeaways in that game, and they pressured Bachmeier so much throughout the game. Unfortunately, this is a team that doesn't know how to win yet. I've been a part of teams like this where you say, wow, we're up. What now? And they don't realize. But what now is you got to stay the course. You keep playing the way you've been playing the whole time. And until they figure out that, yes, we can score 31 points, but we got to be consistent, they're going to unfortunately lose games like that.
You're watching the game, you can see the headline, Kendall Briles, the new OC, changing things up and then shut out in the second half. We'll see how this plays out for Florida State moving on. Meanwhile, Penn State opening up their season. It feels like everybody's talking about Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State in the Big Ten East. How about Penn State, guys?
What a great run here, but I'm excited a little bit after watching some of this. I know it's an early game against Idaho, that's fine. But Penn State looks pretty explosive. Watch them.
They do.
Make a little noise in the Big Ten.
They have a fantastic backfield, up 41-0 in the first half.
This halftime report is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM. Welcome back to the State Farm Halftime Report.
Kevin, JV, and Mark with you once again. Our early game, Memphis, Ole Miss, first quarter. We'll pick things up here now. Memphis hosting this game. Brady White from a yard out, touchdown right there. Memphis was favored in a game like this against the SEC, Mark.
Oh, they sure were. A group of 5 favored over a Power 5. That doesn't happen a lot. But listen, Adam Fuller, that defensive coordinator who came over from Marshall, had this Memphis defense out looking like gangbusters out there and gave Ole Miss fits all day. Now, remember, Ole Miss has lost their 2 great receivers from last year, A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf. They got a new offensive coordinator, Rich Rodriguez, and a new quarterback. They had a lot of problems. I don't know what's going to happen to these guys.
Yeah, that new quarterback sack right there in the end zone for the safety in the fourth quarter. Memphis holding on the win, 15-10. Matt Curl goes down. Meanwhile, Mississippi State and Louisiana, Joe Moorhead, year number 2, and he gets a guy that knows his system. Penn State transfer Tommy Stevens, and he can throw the ball, JV.
I like that he can air it out. I like that Moorhead is going to be more aggressive with this offense. They lost a lot of players on the defensive side, and frankly, last year, a little too conservative. Louisiana gave them a little bit of a scare, but it was really good to see Tommy Stevens and the offense really producing and putting.
Kylan Hill with the physical 8-yard touchdown run, 28-14. Then Austin Williams, 12-yard touchdown catch. In this one, Stevens, a pair of touchdown passes, 236 in the air. They hold on to win 38-28 for Mississippi State. Meanwhile, Nebraska, number 24 in the land. A lot of hype around Scott Frost's squad, especially when they closed out the season 4-2, taking on a South Alabama team that had only 3 wins a year ago. And here's the special teams, J.D. Spielman.
They're scoring a lot of points, but not just on offense. So that could be good for them. I don't know if I saw enough from Nebraska today. I wanted to see a little bit more. I like them as a sleeper team in the Big Ten to make some noise, but they got to show me a little more. I did like what they did on defense here, though.
I'm with you on that. I like what they did on defense, but offensively, as a unit, they aren't that good. Not yet.
They had 2 defensive touchdowns, none all of last season. They hold on 35-21. Les Miles, first game at Kansas, his debut, taking on the Fighting Larry Birds of Indiana State. Uh-oh, we're in trouble.
Man, it was not looking good for Les Miles in Kansas. And, you know, the whole game, you talk about expectations. No one was even thinking that Indiana State could get within 2 scores, 1 score, whatever it was, and now they were about to win. Thank God that Kansas came back to win this game.
Carter Stanley, the Dalen Charlotte for the touchdown. The Mad Hatter getting his first win. Look at it, there's he's smiling right there.
I don't know.
24-17.
I think that's a smile of relief.
Relief, right? They got one on the board. Meanwhile, our guy from the studio here at ABC and now back doing something he loves and back in a place he loves. That is North Carolina, Mac Brown. Tavian Feaster, former Clemson running back, 34 yards.
I think they're just going to be a little too much for North Carolina today. I'd love to see Max Brown's squad just figure out how to win. He's got to teach these guys a lot, and he has that kind of experience from Texas and coaching at North Carolina before, but it's going to take a little time there.
Yeah, uphill battle. They went 2-9 last year.
Trust the process, right? Tua Tagovailoa, that's the message Nick Saban has for him. Trust it, and Tua has a touchdown. Alabama up by 11, second half coming your way.
This halftime report is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
State Farm star watch Justin Herbert. He came back for his senior year for moments like this tonight. Prime time on ABC. Oregon, Auburn coming your way. Second half coming your way after this, and a word from your local ABC stations.
At Midas, with every oil change,
Mercedes-Benz Stadium here in Atlanta. We welcome you back to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game. Duke and Alabama getting ready for the start of the third quarter. Here's head coach David Cutcliffe just moments ago.
You got character, you have conditioning, you have discipline. We've had a really disciplined first half. 2 penalties, no turnovers. You're doing the things, very few missed assignments. You're playing like a Duke football team. Now you go finish your job, and they have no idea. They think they've seen your best. Really? Huh? They think they've seen your best. Come out of here with intention, man. Come out of here with intention and make every second count. Let's go get it done. Let's go!
And that's how Duke will come out and get ready to start the second half with the football.
I love that, right? I mean, that is the exact correct tone from David Cutcliffe. They are not down in any stretch, right? This is an 11-point game. They're 33.5-point dogs coming into this. Nobody expected them to play with Alabama. And they're right in this football game, so no reason for them to doubt each other or their team or their approach, quite frankly.
And that goes in line as to what Coach told us this week. He said his biggest concern is how prepared we are, how will we play. No turnovers, handful of penalties.
Yeah. 2.
They played it clean, played it pretty straight. Michael Carter, just inside the end zone. He will take a snap, take a knee.
You know, with that being said,
yes,
you know, as you look forward to the second half, this is a huge drive, a huge possession for Duke, right? They got 3 points at the end of the first half, and now an opportunity to go back on offense. If they can get some points here, the whole complexion of this thing might change.
And Bama got all their points, Grease, in less than a 5-minute span. You know, so that was just one sort of snippet of that first half. But you're right, this figures to be an important possession for the Blue Devils. See if they're going to hang around.
empty set right off the bat. We have not seen this from Duke to this point in the game.
Deion Jackson, the running back's at the bottom of your screen, split out.
It's a delay of game.
And that's not how you want to start this drive.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Wish we could go back to Coach Cutcliffe now. Instead, here's Molly.
Well, before halftime, Duke's quarterback Quentin Harris seemingly hurt his right hand. That is his throwing hand, and his head coach David Cutcliffe told me that it's not a problem. He said he's banged up a little bit. He's been hit a lot, but it isn't an issue, and he's not worried about it. He wants him to be more aggressive, though, offensively, and he said he's going to turn more to his slot receivers in the second half.
Bit of an issue with that snap.
Well, his slot receivers are his running backs, and that's Deion Jackson. We talked about him in the first half. You need to get him the football. He's their best player, and he's lined up across from Josh Jobe now. But they're going to have to throw the football to move the ball in the second half.
Loss of 2 on the play. Zips one across the middle and complete. It's Noah Gray for the first down. Gray gets his first grab.
And Gray gets matched up on Christian Harris, the freshman linebacker. This is an advantage for Duke. Get in this empty set and isolate those 2 freshman linebackers, 35 and 8, with your best players.
21 yards in that last play. They wipe out the penalty yardage. Harris going to take a shot right sideline. There was some contact with Jalen Calhoun and Patrick Surtain.
What a throw here from Quentin Harris. Comes right out at the second half. 2 quick completions, and then this ball was thrown perfectly to Calhoun. He was running the route against Patrick Surtain. Look at that ball, went off the hands. Should have made that play.
Second down and 10. That's Britton Brown, the bottom of your screen, the running back. In motion. Fake it to him, and Harris will keep it for a couple. Todd.
You know, it's interesting to see what they've come out and tried to do offensively. First half, it was the triple option. They were trying to attack the middle of the field. Now they come out and they've been in 5 wide basically every single snap of this first drive.
Imagine all the different offensive schemes that they have put in over the offseason for this
long summer.
game.
Duke 1 of 7 converting on third down. There's 3rd and 8. Harris a quick throw. It is juggled and caught for the first down. It is Noah Gray. That ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Gray, who's considered the 2nd best receiver on this team, makes the grab for 10.
Xavier McKinney thought he had an interception return for a touchdown. He's number 15. He just doesn't make the play and allows Gray to catch the deflection.
Eyes get big, right, when you think you got 6 and going a lot of green the other way. Harris trying to load up, hit as he throws, and overshot everybody, including Aaron Young, the 5th-year senior. Hey, Duke's not afraid here, Grease.
No,
taking a shot.
Come out and take your shot, right? What do you have to lose? After that halftime speech by David Cutcliffe, you know, you can say all the motivational things you want, but as a coach, you have to give them some tools once you get out here on the field. They're overmatched, yes, but that doesn't mean that they can't come out, change things up, and keep this Alabama defense off guard.
Second down and 10. Harris all by himself in the backfield. Bama rushing 3 underneath. And all of a sudden it's the Noah Gray show for a couple. What do you think Nick Saban's speech was like at halftime? I keep waiting for those cameras to be allowed in there. We'll be able to replay some of his halftime speech.
I think what he's saying is, listen, guys, we got to play better. You know, the first quarter of this game, they didn't play very well. They turned the football over. But I don't think he's panicking by any stretch of the imagination. The first game out is typically pretty rocky.
Empty again on 3rd and 8. Again, it's Noah Gray. 4th grab. Almost in a row. Gain of 5, and he's hurt. Xavier McKinney put the lick on Noah Gray, who still got the football and in some pain. We'll be right back. Noah Gray able to walk off the field at his own power. 6'4" junior from Leominster, Massachusetts. His dad's a hockey player, so you know he's tough.
Yeah, took a big shot though, but David Cutcliffe deciding to go for it here on 4th and 3. I think this is the right decision. You're in this red zone fringe area. It's too far for a field goal. Punt doesn't get you that much yardage, so why not take a shot?
They tried it earlier in the game.
It's a pressure look from Alabama. Everybody's up, man to man.
Harris is trying to throw for it. Underneath, it's caught and not going to get there. The ball pops out. Scott Bracey caught it. I think they're going to say he was down. And they're going to turn it over on downs. Excellent defense by Alabama.
Well, it's one-on-one tight coverage, and Bracey did a great job catching the ball. Then he was fighting for the first down. See if he had to get to the 34-yard line. Did he reach? He never had a chance to reach the ball out. That's a great job by Xavier McKinney. McKinney, the one that missed the interception, potentially returned for a touchdown earlier in this drive with a great tackle, not allowing him to reach that ball out.
And that's what you call an unassisted tackle in a big way. Xavier McKinney coming up big for Bama. Right back to offense. Under some pressure, Tagovailoa will throw it and complete. Jerry Jeudy to the rescue. Shaka Hayward nearly got home after the gain of 9.
I'm watching from behind. I don't know how Tua got that ball off. I mean, the pressure was there immediately. He moves around to buy some time, and right as he's throwing the ball, you've got a defender coming in, and he's able to get it. Usually that ball is going to wind up sailing or going into the ground because he's hit. Great job by Tua to complete that throw.
He's completed just about everything. He's 17 of 20. On the ground, Najee Harris has the 2 yards, given 3 for the first down. Tagovailoa has completed 11 consecutive passes. Look out, Greg McElroy. He's coming for you. McElroy holds the Bama record, which is 16 consecutive passes completed.
Well, we can talk about the playmaking ability of Tua Tagovailoa, but the thing that I love the most is the accuracy. That is the #1 trait in a quarterback by far, and he's one of the more accurate quarterbacks in all of college football.
That's 12 straight completions. It's Forrestall again. Marquise Waters is stopped.
And I think it's worth mentioning that, you know, Tua is now healthy. At the end of last year, he was not healthy. His lower body was beat up. You know, part of that was on him too, not throwing the ball away and not taking what the defense gives you, and trying to make a big play all the time and taking hits. But he took the time in the offseason. He got healthy, and now he looks like he's back to his old self.
On the ground for Harris. Forced to the outside. And it'll be very close. See where they spot him. Looks like they're going to give him the first down, and there's an injured player.
Edgar Serenord and Landon Dickerson got into a tussle, and Serenord threw a punch at Dickerson, and he's going to be ejected from this football game. Come out after halftime and you're emotional and you want to get back in this football game, and you get tangled up with Dickerson, and the helmet came off.
2 helmets off.
But you just can't lose your cool and take a swing. Serenord is 6th year.
After the play was over, personal foul, defense number 92. Number 92 is disqualified from the game for a flagrant personal foul. First down.
5th-year senior from Miami, who was just granted a 6th year of eligibility. And that's how his opening day will end up.
Yeah, and that's not the way to go out either. That's not the way to go out, right? Like, I get it, you're emotional, but you lost your cool, you lost your composure, and that's the way you go off. That's not Duke football, right? That doesn't represent David Cutcliffe and doesn't represent the University of Duke in any way, shape, or form.
So Dickerson waving goodbye. See when he gets back in the game. Tagovailoa throwing to Jeudy. Just too strong.
Duke got away with one there. They were in man-to-man coverage. It was a single high, man-free coverage. And when you watch that, I mean, Jeudy almost always is going to be able to beat coverage. He does one-on-one, and the ball's just a little bit overthrown. Tua wants that one back.
Finds Jeudy in space, and Jerry Jeudy can make his own space. Down to the 10. Dylan Singleton got just enough of him.
So if you're going to play man-to-man against Jerry Jeudy, you can't come up and play press because that's what happened on the previous play. You almost get beat. And this time you play off your Marquise Waters, and now you got to come up and try to tackle this guy. And look at the speed and the acceleration to the outside. It was very difficult to defend.
Here's Jeudy again in space. Inside the 5, still on his feet. He wants the goal line, and he won't get it.
We talk a lot about the speed of Jerry Jeudy and the route running ability. He's still down. We talk about how physical he is, but he was trying to get in the end zone. He took 2 or 3 big shots, and he's still down on the field. I get it. You want to make a statement. You want to establish yourself in that wide receiver room for this offense. You want to have that physical, nasty attitude that you can do anything and get it in the end zone. But at the same time, you need to preserve the health of your body for a long season.
An entire state holds its collective breath right now. They can breathe a little easier.
Look at this. 2 guys holding him up. Then you take a big shot from a linebacker coming from the inside. Here comes another big shot from another linebacker. And I know exactly what Nick Saban's going to say in the film room tomorrow. He's like, listen, kid, you're a space speed guy. I don't need you fighting for extra yards. That's how you're going to get hurt.
But you got to love the nose for the end zone, right?
All you have to do is that once. You only have to do it one time. Okay, he's proven that he's tough. That's it for the rest of the season.
He's good. Number 10 checks in for Alabama down by the goal line, and we all know that means Ale Cajo is blocking as a fullback position in front of Brian Robinson. Duke couldn't get off the field in time. You saw a Duke player running to the backfield as if he was going to sack the quarterback, and he was just trying to get to the bench. So a lack of discipline by the Blue Devils, couple of ways here.
Well, you can call a number of fouls, so you can get 12 men on the field, or you can call offsides on Blackwell, 31.
Illegal substitution. The defense had too many players on the field. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
I thought it was a corner blitz for a second. First down and goal. At that point, it's only inches because it's half the distance to the goal. Robinson behind Aho. Two after a quick chat. Here's Robinson. And the push. Won't get there. Second and goal. Hornbuckle looked like the first man in.
Yeah, great push by Hornbuckle on the right side of that defensive line. 59, 54. Knifing inside, does a great job, blows up Cajo and prevents Robinson from getting in the end zone.
Ninth play of the drive coming up. Two to throw for it. Got a man wide open. Caught. Touchdown. Major Tennyson for the score.
Same look, same situation, and this time they pull it out and they get Shaka Hayward, who was responsible for man-to-man coverage. They sell out to stop the run on first and second down. Those are the downs to go play action on the goal line. That was well conceived.
And so with all these great wide receivers for Alabama, the 2 touchdown passes that Tua Tagovailoa has thrown today have both gone to tight ends. 8.5 to go in the third. Bama opens up their lead. Back in Atlanta, now for a look at some of the biggest moments of the game, brought to you by Samsung QLED TV.
Tua Tagovailoa has gotten into a rhythm after that first quarter. He's gotten the ball out of his hands quickly. He's been using his wide receivers, the best tools he has, but really the damage has been done by a couple of tight ends. This Forrestall, and then on the last drive, sneaking the tight end into the corner, and Tennyson gets on the board. But an efficient day from Tua Tagovailoa. Hasn't turned the football over, and that's the big thing in the offseason for him. It was protecting the football and protecting his body. And that second point of protecting your body, there's a lot of things that go into that. Mainly, it's not holding on to the football, trying to make the big play every time, but making the play that the defense gives you. And Tua's been good at that in the first 3 quarters of this game.
Completed 12 consecutive passes at one point. Oregon and Auburn, they're coming up tonight. I believe it's the only top 25 matchup. 2 ranked teams tonight. Check it out, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And then the Monday nighter. Louisville will be up against it at home against ninth ranked Notre Dame. With 8.5 left.
Let's see what David Cutcliffe comes out with now. A wing T offense or something.
Britton Brown split out, they'll throw it to him. Get him out in the flat, take some people on. And the football comes out, picked up by Alabama. Trayvon Diggs has it. And he nearly got back up on his feet and ran out of sideline. And Brown is hurt now after coughing it up.
Big time play from Trayvon Diggs. I think he's the one that stripped the ball and recovered it. Just trying to get Brown the ball in space and let him make some moves. Sorry, that's Surtain that strips it out. And that's what is coached at Alabama. Nick Saban coaches this. When you get defenders around a player and he's done, then the second and third guy come up strip for the fumble.
Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. From end zone to end zone, Goodyear. More driven. The home of the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons will get their home opener, and 2 weeks from tomorrow they'll play on Sunday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles come to town.
I think the Falcons might be a sleeper in the NFC. It could be a good football team.
We know Sark's rooting for them. First down and 10. Tagovailoa off his back foot throwing, and it is in and out of the hands of Jalen Waddle. Had it, and then he didn't. Leonard Johnson on the coverage.
This was the fake pump screen and throw the ball in the fade to Jalen Waddle. Nice coverage there from Leonard Johnson.
You know, he's so used to run after catch, he goes up for the ball, and you could see his head turn just before the ball came in. He lost focus on it.
No Jerry Jeudy after that big hit down on the goal line on the last series.
Harris patiently picking his hole. Slammed out at the 14 by Marquise Waters.
Back to take a look at the sideline after that turnover. Surtain. Haven't seen that before with a la turnover chain. Right. Everybody's got it.
We haven't seen that before, right? Except by everybody. Trayvon McSwain knows.
Offside with contact, defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Those are the pre-snap penalties, too. Those talked about by Coach Cutcliffe all week. I mentioned Sark rooting for the Falcons. Spent the last couple of seasons here in Atlanta. Offense coordinator. He said when you're coaching Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley and you come back to college, you get people's attention really quickly.
Right, he flips on the film of the Atlanta Falcons and says, hey, we're going to run this route. Look at these two guys running it. You know who they are.
Hey, I FaceTime with Matt Ryan this morning. College kids will tend to think that's pretty cool. Here's Tagovailoa throwing, wide open, caught, touchdown. Devontae Smith for the score. The tide's starting to roll.
That's a big-time play there from Tua Tagovailoa. Rolled out. He knew he had plenty of time. He surveyed the field. He didn't try to force it into the back of the end zone. He went through his progressions and his reads as Steve Sarkisian's trying to make him do, and finally found the end zone.
No time for Tua to celebrate either. He's got to get back on the field and hold the extra point from Will Reichert. 28-3 Bama.
Take a look at Tua. He's going to go through this naked play. Going to have a tight end in the back of the end zone, and he wants to throw it there. Right here, he's looking there. He could have thrown it, but he decides not to. And watch the throw here, Steve. He's going to come back at the very end. Once that defender turns his back, he decides to throw the football in the flat, and he gets the touchdown to Devontae Smith. That's a great example of Tua going through his reads and not forcing the football, coming back to his third wide receiver.
So the Tagovailoa family, let's see if we get a shot of the back of his uniform. People might be wondering, why does he need a TU in front of Tagovailoa? That's because his younger brother, Talia, who wears number 5, he'll have a TA on the back of his jersey. Wearing out the poor equipment managers. But they'll deal with it. You're going to win the Heisman Trophy and go on to contend for a national championship every single year.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting talking to Coach Sarkisian and saying, you know, we ran a lot of the RPOs and we're going to do it like we did last year, but that was the base offense. And this year we've got to add progressions. And yes, we can win a lot of games running the RPOs, but when we get to the end of the season, the LSU's, the SEC championship game, the 2 playoff games, if we're fortunate enough to be there, with better competition, we've got to be able to do more things. And Tua has got to be able to go through progressions as a pocket passer. Doesn't mean we can't mix in the RPOs, the run-pass option, but we've got to be a little bit more multiple and diverse in what we're trying to do. It makes a lot of sense, Brian.
I thought it was interesting talking with Nick Saban last night. He said we were too reliant, and that's Mike Loxley, that's Josh Gaddis, Dan Enos. All 3 of those coaches are no longer on this Alabama staff. They went to take coordinator positions and head coaches elsewhere. But he said we were too reliant on that one run-pass option offense, and when they got to play against Clemson and the better teams, it came back to bite them.
Harris throwing. Aaron Young could not haul it in. Josh Jobe had the coverage, and there's always seems to be turnover on Nick Saban's staff, and that might be coming to an end, by the way. We can get into that in a second, but 7 new assistants. You see 8 names out there. Pete Golden was already on the staff. Just sort of a change of position of the defensive coordinator. But it's 3 consecutive years of changing offensive and defensive coordinator. That's an awful lot of turnover for a super successful program.
That's unique to Alabama and Nick Saban in particular. You know, other programs have a little turnover, not like that.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, number 63 and number 67. Half the distance to the goal, still second down.
Well, it's interesting to compare Alabama and all the turnover the last couple of years. I mean, they had 1 defensive coach that came back a year ago, and then more turnover this year, to Clemson. And Clemson, all their coaches stay. They've been there. It's a family, and you can tell that Nick Saban, by talking to him, he wants to get more consistency with his coaching staff moving forward.
2nd and 22. Duke getting backed up here. Go conservative on the ground. Deion Jackson. He'll be dropped at the 25. Another note on the coaching, and this really jumps out at me. There's not a single, not one on-field assistant that remains from the championship game a couple of years ago. Not one.
Yeah. Well, you know, Saban said something to us last night that really stuck out to me. He said for the first time he feels like coaches are coming to Alabama to get a leg up to go somewhere else. They are using the process and the program of Nick Saban and Alabama to get a stepping stone to other jobs. And so he said, I'm going to have to change that. He says, I've been open to coaches coming and going at will. And he says he thinks for the first time he's going to have to change that policy.
And where it's really hurting him, he says, is the relationship between all these coaches coming and going and the players, and especially in the recruiting process.
Yep, because these coaches are out recruiting kids.
For years.
You recruit kids, yeah, as 8th, 9th, 10th graders now. And the guys that initially start recruiting change every year, and that hurts the chances that recruit will come to Alabama.
Bama runs a late guy on. Duke will get the punt away from their 20. Waddle call for a fair catch and then drift back. Nice punt by Austin Parker at 52 yards. There's a flag on the field back at the 38-yard line.
Well, these are good problems to have, though, too, right? Like, you know, I think Nick Saban, he wants to be in control. There's no question. He wants to be in control of the coaching staff anyway.
Holding, receiving team number 4. Half the distance to the goal. It will be first down, Alabama.
And let's not forget they have five former head coaches on the staff.
As Raekwon Davis told us, a lot of new coaches, the standard is still the same, and there's only one voice. Crimson Tide, they got fans anywhere. There's one of Alabama's most famous fans, Alabama Hannah, the star bachelorette. She's got a busy fall ahead of her. She gears up for Dancing with the Stars.
She's one of their most famous fans, huh?
That's what it says on the card, Grease.
Okay.
I was told to read the card.
Just clarifying.
Got it. See Ray Lewis on Dancing with the Stars coming up.
Now there's a star.
And we know he can dance too.
Yeah.
Every pregame.
I don't think Hannah's going to beat Ray Ray coming out of the tunnel. He's going to come out of the tunnle on Dancing with the Stars.
They probably will. That'd be a great idea. With the same music, and the light show, the smoke. You know, I feel Dancing with the Stars is heavily weighted based on your partner, not necessarily the celebrity.
Ray Ray doesn't need a partner.
All by himself.
You done a lot of dancing with Ray?
He might hurt somebody. He danced after he's intercepted me, yeah.
Brian Robinson stayed on his feet, stays in bounds. He wants more.
No, we didn't see these two, Robinson or Najee Harris, in the first quarter. But these guys got a lot on their plate too now. Damian Harris and Josh Jacobs have moved on to the NFL. There's a lot of talent in these two young men, but Josh Jacobs was a unique talent, unique individual. And Damian Harris, you could argue, carried a majority of the load last year. So these two guys need to step up in this Alabama offense as well.
On the ground, it's Robinson for a yard. Bama thought they were going to have Trey Sanders, a talented freshman running back as well, but he broke his foot in camp. He's out indefinitely. But nobody has much sympathy for Alabama around the country, right? They get an injury, they get suspension, some tough luck, changing coaches. Nobody's playing the violin for the Crimson Tide.
Nor should they.
Five championships the last 10 years for Alabama. 6 overall for Nick Saban, tying him with Paul Bear Bryant. Tagovailoa, little hitch, giddy up, and able to complete. Jalen Waddle, 21-yard gain.
They look at some of the injuries. Nobody has sympathy, but these are real players that were going to impact the outcome for Alabama this year. No more important than Dylan Moses, the inspirational leader. I feel terrible for him. He's worked his way and finally got to a point where he was a captain on defense, was going to call the defense, and everybody was looking to him for leadership. And unfortunately, he's going to miss the season.
Some pressure up the middle. Tua gets out of the grasp, and now we'll run. Pick up a couple. He's across midfield. Chris Rumph got a piece of jersey and not much more. Gain of 6.
And I think this is the underrated part of his game, Todd, where he's looking downfield, nothing there, and just the escapability and the athletic ability of Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, and it was interesting talking to him the other day. He put on a lot of weight, he said, 13 pounds. I mean, for me, 25 is where you jump off a lot of weight. But he said he put on 13 pounds. He was out of shape because he couldn't run, and he was really trying to nurse his injuries from a year ago and recover from everything that went on. And he wants to be able to run. He obviously likes it, and he's very adept at it. But he also knows this year if they're going to last, and he's going to play well in the biggest games down the stretch, the SEC championship game and into the playoffs, he's got to do a better job of protecting himself.
No question that he has to protect himself better, and it's not just when he's scrambling, Todd. I believe it's when he's in the pocket and diagnosing pressure. You see his mom and dad there. But being able to protect yourself is a lot about mental, is knowing how you're protected, who's blitzing, where are my hots, how can I get rid of the ball and don't hold the ball. It's being a manager at that position of quarterback.
Right back to Robinson, staying on his feet for first down yardage. Shaka Hayward brought him down, but not until he had the necessary yards. He needed 5 times.
And I think Steve Sarkisian, coming in from the NFL and obviously all those years in college, more of a pro-style system and just setting him up for success in terms of pre-snap reads. I think he's going to allow Tua to protect himself better in terms of his options pre-snap.
Robinson is swung back around. Drew Jordan, first to the party for Duke. Tagovailoa said, he wasn't feeling really good until May. That's a long time. He doesn't like the turf here. He said it's like concrete. You remember that from the SEC championship game.
He hasn't played on real turf if he thinks this is concrete.
Right.
This is
not
like
the
Charmin out there.
Not the Kingdom in Seattle.
Oh
It's
my
like a
gosh.
pillow down here.
Jeez.
Oh, these young millennials, they got it so easy, huh, Grease? Back when I was playing. Tagovailoa throwing. Caught. Jerry Jeudy is, in fact, back in the football game.
Yeah, great to see number 4 in crimson back out there. And when he's out there, why not feed him? They're going to play zone this time. It's a 3-deep zone. I like how he wraps around the zone dropping defender, and he's friendly to the quarterback. He gives his whole body up for the target for Tagovailoa, and a nice completion.
And they go right back to him again. Able to beat him in space down the sideline. Jerry Jeudy, what an effort! Consecutive 21 yards plays for Jeudy. And the only people not enjoying that effort is this Duke defender who missed him.
How nice to be able to throw a little bubble screen out there to Jerry Jeudy. And it looks like he gave him a little matrix, like in front of his face. He just kind of waved and said, "See ya," to the house.
Puts Jerry Jeudy now well over 100 receiving yards. Marquise Waters thought he had him, and then he didn't. Only 2 players have won back-to-back Biletnikoff Awards ever. Michael Crabtree in 2007 and 2008, and Justin Blackmon in 2010 and 2011. Might there be a third in that group? Jerry Jeudy.
Some of this offense, right? Like getting him the football last year, a lot of it was on that run-pass option, and why not? It was working so well, but now you bring in Steve Sarkisian, as Todd mentioned, and you have to expand the offense. You're not looking at the offense to beat Duke. You're not looking at it to beat Ole Miss. You're looking at Georgia. You're looking at Clemson. What Clemson did in the national championship game, and Kirby Smart at Georgia did the same thing. They blitzed Tua Tagovailoa. They played zone coverages behind. They took away the run-pass option game. And Nick Saban knows that when we play teams that have similar talent and great defensive coaches, we cannot just rely on that system. So now, the first part of this season, you're going to see Alabama expand this offense, and they desperately need it if they want to get back and win another championship.
Carter again. A yard deep will take a knee. Tua Tagovailoa has 4 touchdown passes. 7th such career game. And his career just getting started. We wondered about the 4th quarter for Tua. Barely saw him in the first 9 such games in the 4th quarter last season when Alabama was blowing people out. And Nick Saban says a chance to get some other players some snaps, some experience.
Yeah, well, Nick has always been about playing his backup quarterback. He's always been that way, and so I fully anticipate seeing Mac Jones in the 4th quarter.
Harris, deep shot, Aaron Young, too deep.
Late flag.
And a flag.
Josh Jobe was out there playing a little hand fighting. I didn't see anything to warrant pass interference, though.
Pass interference. Defense, number 28, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
In the NFL, Grease, you could challenge that.
You see, Nick's saying, "Listen, that was good position. We were in good position. Just keep running, stay in that hip pocket." I didn't see pass interference there. And that was thrown by the line judge from way behind, not the field judge where that call would typically be made.
Quentin Harris, ball carrier for 2. Christian Harris on Quentin Harris on the stop.
haven't talked a whole lot about this secondary for Alabama, but maybe the biggest loss for them was Deontay Thompson, the free safety, who had one of a career year last year, and they're going to have Jared Maiden filling in for him.
Flip to Jackson, running hard, trying to get that first down. Xavier McKinney put a lick on him. They will move the sticks. But it's as we hit the final minute of the third.
It's a secondary that is strong on the outside with Patrick Surtain and Trevon Diggs. We've mentioned Xavier McKinney numerous times. He's kind of the Swiss Army knife in that back end. Can cover, can play zone, can blitz, can come down and play dime linebacker. He's very versatile. It's going to be dependent on him to help get these true freshman linebackers lined up as well throughout the course of the season.
Duke at midfield trying to hang around. Harris loads up and throws, and it's intercepted. Trevon Diggs. Speaking of that Bama secondary. And a flag is down on the field. We'll check the marker. There's a flag in front of the Alabama sideline.
Trevon Diggs was in great position. I think he makes this interception. The question is,
the ruling on the field is an interception by Alabama. In addition, there is a sideline warning charged against Alabama. There is no yardage assessed. First down, Alabama.
He doesn't know that another flag has been thrown on Nick Saban. So this will be 2 flags assessed against Alabama. Doesn't take away from a great play by Trevon Diggs. He played that perfectly. He was in perfect position. And his team wanted to come out and celebrate with him after the fact.
After that play was
Nick
over,
didn't like it.
Unsportsmanlike conduct charged against the head coach of Alabama. That will be half the distance to the goal. First down, Alabama. That is unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Nick's still hot. Up 35-3 with 20 seconds left in the third.
Well, you said the season doesn't start until Alabama kicks off. It probably hasn't started until we've had a meltdown here from Nick Saban.
Welcome to the college football season, everybody.
Doesn't matter the score, right? Nick Saban's still going to be competing. Look at this position by Trevon Diggs. He knows he's in the hip pocket. Turn around, find the football, and make the play. That's as good as you can do it. Trevon Diggs is going to be a special player for Alabama this season.
And the Bama crowd going wild. Diggs was off to a great start last season. He was injured early on, and that injury really hurt the secondary for Alabama. They're looking forward to have him for the entire ride this year. Mac Jones is in at quarterback. Gives to Najee Harris. Staying on his feet. You really hear the Alabama crowd, maybe even louder than when they scored a touchdown, cheering on their head coach, Nick Saban. The 14-yard gain.
They love the passion of Nick Saban, right? And Nick Saban won't hold back. You know, talked with him last night. You know, he said, listen, the worst thing is when you win and you don't play well. So he wants to play well throughout the rest of this game. There's no question about it.
Fourth quarter on the way, as you can tell. Welcome back to the Chick-fil-A kickoff game, and here you see some of this year's Chick-fil-A scholars. These team members are awarded scholarships in recognition of their outstanding community service and education achievements. Since 1973, Chick-fil-A has awarded over $75 million in scholarships. He said $75 million in scholarships, and for that, among other things, we thank you, Chick-fil-A. Jalen Waddle on the receiving end, and Mac Jones has a completion. And here come the Crimson Tide to open up the fourth quarter. While we were in commercial, Nick Saban was still jawing with the on-field officials.
Well, I wouldn't call it jawing. I think he came out, he wanted to clarify, like, listen, we intercept the football, and the kids are having fun. They're just having a good, it's not like they're impacting the official on the field, like, and I think it wasn't even the kids, it was one of the assistant coaches.
Najee Harris for the first down.
I think it was the overzealous turnover belt coach, whoever that is. There he is. Look at him right there. See, he runs into the official holding up the turnover bell.
Right.
And that's what gets the flag, right? There's no players out there, and Nick is like, listen, we're having fun. We're trying to have fun. And I agree with him. Keep that flag in your pocket.
The turnover belt coach.
Yeah, right.
Major Tennyson on the receiving end there.
Yeah, that is not, you don't want to be on camera for that. Right?
His social media is about to blow up.
No. And if his name comes up in the post-game presser from Coach Saban's mouth, he's in real trouble.
I'm trying to get his name up on the screen right now.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Who did we have last year? Was it third down guy we kept talking about, right? Guy kept jumping up and down holding the third down sign.
You made him a social media star.
That's what I do. I make stars out of people. There's Najee Harris. He doesn't need my help. Cassidy Humberth already born a star.
You're too good to me, Leaves. Today for All-State Mayhem moment, and we got it in Knoxville. Tennessee struggling against Georgia State. Dan Ellington to Aubrey Payne to put the Panthers up 21-17. The Vols have responded. It's now 23-21 this game over on ESPNU. Brian, Todd, Steve?
Good one. Thank you. Bama across midfield. Harris didn't do anything there. Swarming Duke defense. It's a loss of 3 on the play.
I think it's important here that Steve Sarkisian runs the offense for Mac Jones. Give him an opportunity to run the offense. You never know. You might need him down the road. In the SEC championship game a year ago, Tua goes down.
Yes.
Jalen Hurts comes in and helps him win the game, come back in the fourth quarter. These are important reps for young Mac Jones.
And that was exactly how Saban described it. It's not about protecting Tua. It's more about getting reps for these inexperienced young players. And it's not just at the quarterback position. Here's Mac Jones stepping up. The flag comes in late. Jones gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Jedrick Wills are going to get on the right tackle for holding, throwing a guy to the ground.
Holding. Offense, number 74. 10-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Mac Jones threw 14 passes a season ago, including, oh, by the way, he had a 94-yard touchdown pass to Jalen Waddle. That's the second longest in Alabama school history. So Mac Jones has that on his resume.
How long was that ball in the air, do you know?
You saying it was a screen?
It could have been. Just saying.
You don't think it was in the box score, it's a bomb.
Yeah, right.
In reality, that's a fair point, Greasy. You are in mid-season form. Trying to give Mac Jones a little love.
I'm not mad. I had the same issue. I love throwing a screen to, Charlie Garner, and he runs for 90 yards, and now you have a record.
So you think it was a little touch pass in the backfield?
Yeah.
That counts as passing yards to start rushing. Got it.
Illegal substitution. The defense had 12 players in formation. That's a 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Tua still very much in this game. Tagovailoa had a brilliant third quarter, and that's where the blowout really came into effect. 10 of 12, 128 yards, and 3 scores. 3 consecutive scoring drives coming out of the half. And it's hard to believe that this was a scoreless game into the second quarter. And now here into the fourth, it's 35-3. Here is Jalen Waddle.
He's going to come up just short here. I think this is telling to me that you have Mac Jones in and all the starters are still out there. You've got the starting wide receivers, the starting offensive line, one of your starters at running back. And I think you're going to see that up until, maybe 8 or 10 minutes left in the game. But they want to evaluate and get Mac Jones on the same page with these players in particular.
And going for it on 4th and 3. Duke will take a timeout. 11:06 to go here in the fourth. Bama on this opening day of college football. Back in Atlanta, take a look at today's Pacific Life game summary. And starting in the second quarter, it's all about Alabama.
Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa started to get rolling. Found 2 tight ends for the first 2 touchdowns. That one to Forrestall. And then he started to heat up with the wide receivers, Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy. get in on the act. So it's been an efficient night, and leadership shown, a lot of leadership shown from Tua Tagovailoa, which I think is important, right? I don't think anybody questioned whether Alabama offensively would come out and roll early in the season. The question was, they're going to be able to do it when the season's on the line at the end.
Mac Jones under some pressure on 4th and 3, able to get the necessary yardage. Keep the drive alive.
Nice job by Mac Jones, not flinching. His protection is not great up front. You got a free runner, and he comes up, makes a little move there on the linebacker, and gets just enough for a first down on 4th down.
Last season, Tagovailoa last season averaged a touchdown every 10 snaps, Grease. He's slightly off this year's pace. It's every 12 snaps so far today, Cassidy.
Thanks, Steve. Let's take a look at one of AT&T's best performances. South Carolina taking on Mac Brown and UNC. Sam Howell to De'Ami Brown with a juggling show and score. 3-point game in Chapel Hill. This one is over on ESPN. Steve, Brian, Todd, back to you.
You know, we don't root, Grease. We're not in the rooting business, but I'm rooting for Mac Brown.
Yeah?
He's one of us. Hope he has success back in North Carolina. Guess you want to jump in on that one? Okay. Time for today's Athletic Trivia. You're rooting against Mac Brown.
No, I love Mac Brown. Are you kidding?
Which 3 Duke alumni are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
Oh, good question.
That is a good one. We're going to answer right away. We're not going to give the people some time.
I was going to guess.
Greasy would have had that.
Oh, I definitely had Sonny Jurgensen. I didn't know the other two.
I had Ace Parker.
No, you did not.
Just the other day, I was telling a story.
Where did Ace Parker play in the NFL?
Played on the San Diego Chargers.
In 1934?
Of the American Football League.
Attaboy. Oh, my goodness. And you have the answers on the card.
No, I didn't. Cole gave me the wrong card. No answer card. Just the question card. Should we go back to rooting for Mac Brown or not? Are we at that point?
I'm sure Will Muschamp loves that.
So people wondered about the injury, and that was the big news for Alabama without Dylan Moses. When's that going to hurt them, right? So nobody expected to hurt him here, right? And probably not in their next game against New Mexico State. South Carolina. We're getting the meat of the schedule late in the season. Maybe in LSU. Figure Auburn player is down now. That is the left guard.
Emil Ekiyor, yeah.
They're already banged up. The guard spot.
The Chick-fil-A Kickoff on ABC is brought to you by Pacific Life. 150 years strong. Protection and retirement solutions for your future.
You can see there's more than just the Chick-fil-A kickoff game going on in Atlanta this weekend. A Dragon Con is in town. They claim to be the largest multimedia pop culture convention in the world. We can't find any evidence of that, but we're going to trust them. We've got some 75,000 expected to attend this year, and there are 75,000 people in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium at this football game. So a big weekend, head to toe, in costume or in uniform here in Atlanta.
Is that why you're staying in town tonight, Levy?
Hanging around. Quick change of clothes, head out on the town. Mac Jones throw to Jerome Ford, who's back in the game. He'll lower the shoulder. Take a look at the play just prior to the commercial break.
Yeah, Emil Ekiyor, the left guard, he's playing center on this snap, but number 55 right in the middle of the screen. Looks like he just kind of comes up gingerly on that left knee. They walked him off. Well, they're already missing De'Ami Brown, who's out for 4 games this season. The true freshman Evan Neal and Ekiyor were either or in the starting left guard position, so to lose him would be a blow for that offensive line.
Alex Leatherwood was having his hand worked on. And here's Reichert to attempt a 48-yard field goal out of the hold of Tagovailoa. And for Reichert, the first field goal hit the right upright, and that time it's the left upright. The true freshman kicker, Will Reichard. They had a problem last year, Alabama did, with extra points.
Well, Joseph Bulovas missed 6 extra points last year.
Missed 9 as a team, and they're trying to figure it out with Will Reichard. They think could be the best kicker since Lee Tiffin that Alabama has had in some 10 years. So, Reese, on game day today, they had 2 really interesting things. Tom Rinaldi talking about the transfer portal, and then a conversation on Alabama, how they practice harder than any team in the country, and how you see that on the field. And of course, it went back to Dylan Moses getting injured this week. Tuesday, we were in Tuscaloosa, and do you have to make some adjustments there?
Well, I think you can tweak it. I don't think that is Alabama. That's Nick Saban. That's the way that he practices. That's why they are as good as they are. You can't discount that. Now, certainly you're going to have more injuries when you practice, more one-on-one or good versus good because guys are going. The thing that happened in Tuesday's practice with Dylan Moses, they were just in a thud situation. They weren't tackling to the ground. We were there watching. He came up, tried to make a thud tackle on one of the running backs out of the backfield, and it's like he tried to pull up and he tried to hold off, and that's when he got that knee caught in the ground. It's almost safer to let guys go and not to try to come back in thud and be in between. It was just a freak deal. I feel terrible for Dylan Moses, but
thud is initial contact, right? Thud is one bump. Not really. Thank you.
Yeah, you just
get so that's thud.
Yeah, you don't take them to the ground.
They don't go to the ground.
Yeah. You okay?
Come on, you're going to be harder than that next time. I'm tougher than your average Sports Center anchor, you know. Quentin Harris throwing and completing. Mateo Durant. 4th down upcoming.
So the replacements for Dylan Moses, Shane Lee, a true freshman, number 35. He's played well tonight. Obviously, you're gonna expect to have some bumps in the road, but he's done well. And here's Christian Harris, number 8. Now, Christian Harris was going to be a starter either way. They felt like Josh McMillan, who got hurt as well in camp, was going to be the starter, but they felt like Christian Harris was coming on so fast that they weren't going to be able to keep him out of the starting lineup. So they felt like he was going to be a great replacement either way.
Parker to punt it away.
Or
Shanked. He's had an up and down day. That'll be a down punt. We'll figure out where they spot it when we come back.
Cassidy Hubbard with your studio update. We have an upset alert in Knoxville. Tennessee and Georgia State. Trey Barnett, 19-yard run, puts the Panthers back on top. They've since added another, so it's 34-23 in the 4th over on ESPNU. Steve, back to you.
You should see Greasy's eyes. Cassidy said, upset alert. Like those are the 2 words everybody wants to hear. You want to get everybody's attention. Upset alert. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Best part of every kickoff is the drive that comes next. Go further with Goodyear. More driven. Jerome Ford keeps driving against this Duke defense.
There's a lot of conversation this offseason for Alabama about their mental focus, and we were able to talk with Raekwon Davis this week, and he was very honest with us, talking about how last year just wasn't him. He said he thought he'd made it. He started to play different. The attention to detail wasn't there. Even his family came up to him, got in his face, and said, "What are you doing? This isn't you. You got thrown out of a game that we did last year." And I think he has rededicated himself. He thought he was going to go to the NFL, and it was a dose of reality. And now he's had to come back, and he's been a model for this team and how they need to reset their focus this offseason.
Sounds like when his family got after him, it really got his attention. One thing to hear a coach say it, when your family member, somebody who's been with you forever, that's some tough love and trying to get around that. And apparently he seems like a different person, as you said, coming back. They measured his body fat at 13%.
Well, he's a first-round talent, right, Todd?
He's so talented, too. You go back and study the tape from 2017. I mean, this guy is freakishly gifted. He just, for all the reasons he told us in the meeting, partly looking forward to the NFL, partly just not paying attention to detail and doing the little things that he was doing. He just was not the same guy. The statistics matched up with what you saw on tape. But I went back and studied 2017. I've got him as the 19th overall ranked player in this draft. That's how good I think he can be if he gets back to playing at that level that he was 2 years ago.
Well, we were talking to Pete Golden, the defensive coordinator, and he said, when those two linebackers, inside linebackers, McMillan and Moses, went down, the first person in his office was Raekwon Davis asking, what can I do? How can I help? I want to do more. You just let me know. And that's a great example of him stepping up and having that humility and wanting to be a leader.
We should say hi to Dylan Moses. I'm sure he and his family are watching back home. Had the surgery yesterday. Well, what did Dylan Moses do the night after he was injured? Sent a group text to all the linebackers. Say, hey, keep your heads in the game. You guys got this without me. I'll be fine. You guys will figure it out. And so, but it just shows you the cohesiveness, especially of this defense of Alabama.
Well, and it's a great opportunity for Dylan to get his degree, right? He can focus on that and get his degree while he rehabs and come back stronger than ever. He's going to have a long, productive career at the next level.
Got a young daughter, a 3-year-old daughter, soon-to-be 3-year-old daughter. Bama going for it on 4th and 1 with Jerome Ford, and they're able to pick up the first down. Take a look at this week's college football rankings. Well, the rankings are already out.
Rankings?
Wow. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A.
I think the rankings should start in October, mid-October.
Don't you need a jumping off point? Don't you need somewhere to go from?
No.
Come to? We got a third quarterback in the game. Goes by the last name of Tagovailoa. That's Talia, the kid brother. And he'll hand to Jerome Ford. Here's Ford down the sideline, not going to catch him. Jerome Ford for the 37-yard touchdown to blow the doors wide open.
Tua forgot he had to hold. He wasn't expecting to get a touchdown. He's like, first I got to get my helmet, then I got to go say congrats to my brother, and now I got to hold for the extra point.
We told you Alabama gets a touchdown every 12 snaps or so when Tua's in the game. Talia, every one snap when he's in the game, Alabama gets a touchdown there.
Imagine that feeling, to be a parent and to have not one, but both your kids playing in a game. That's special. And I think it's important to mention, Jerome Ford started this game at tailback for the suspended Najee Harris and Brian Robinson. He put the ball on the ground and they pulled him out. Now he has an opportunity to get back in the game, and he finds pay dirt.
A couple of roommates, Talia and Tua, going to enjoy this one. This season, for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities, Allstate will make a contribution to the university's General Scholarship Fund. We thank you, Allstate. And that touchdown and extra point, in the minds of many, will make up for those 2 missed field goals by the true freshman. As Duke gets ready to get back on the field, heading into the NFL draft, Daniel Jones inspired some strong opinions, mostly from our own Todd McShay.
Who concerns you of the group that's talked about most, and why?
I would say Daniel Jones, because I think he's limited.
What do you make of him going 6 to New York?
I think it's the fit that they wanted because of Eli and because he's been around David Cutcliffe and he's been around the Mannings, but I think it was a big mistake. One day he could develop into an adequate starter, but that's the best you're going to get, in my opinion. You're taking that player at number 6. Not a fan of the pick.
I think it's kind of Todd to wear the same suit that day as he's wearing in today's game. So I wonder now, it's only the preseason.
Levy, you've been waiting all day for this, bud.
All day?
All day.
I think since April 26th.
You wanted to roll it in the first quarter.
Since the draft.
How's Daniel Jones doing in the preseason?
Hey, all right, let's start with you, Bruce. Because when you and I talked about him last year,
I loved him.
You had the same opinion I had.
Him.
Good player, solid, some limitations, not ready for the NFL. He had a great preseason, and I'm happy for him. I hope he goes on to be a Hall of Famer, sort of. 6 overall, I was surprised, and he's played really well, but call me in week 8. Let's see what's going on.
Oh, we're going to week 8 now.
I mean, what else can I do?
Week 9, week 10?
Call me in year 5.
So I think the backstory is also amusing. Oh, some hard hitting down on the field there. And Britton Brown taking a pounding. So the McShay backstory to that, though, is you were a little concerned concerned, and you're thinking, I've only had one Duke game in 5 years. Like, what are the odds of me seeing Duke again so quickly?
What are the chances?
And the schedule comes out, and we get Duke against Alabama. I mean, that's unbelievable. The odds against that.
We all have jobs
and
to
McShay was mysteriously absent from our interview with David Cutcliffe.
Yeah,
Seriously.
There were some issues in trying to get into Duke's practice.
Thank you, Levy, finally.
And we wondered if, in fact, there was some resentment aimed at our man, our intrepid reporter, Todd McShay.
He's a great young man, honestly. And the problem with TV sometimes is, honestly.
Yes, what's the problem with TV?
Kuiper liked him, and I didn't, so what are they going to do? They're going to try to play the hits and have us fight about it. So they never wanted to hear about the positive things that I saw in him, but I just didn't think, when you're talking about 6th overall pick, I just didn't see it.
Did you see it at 17 in the second pick the Giants had? Were you good there?
I had a late second, early third round grade on him, so no.
A mid-4th round grade on him.
What I thought that you said, Todd, about Daniel Jones in particular was that the Giants fell in love with him because he reminded them of Eli Manning, obviously coached by David Cutcliffe, kind of the same cerebral approach to the game as David Cutcliffe, and he had as Eli, and he had the upside potentially. That's what I felt was interesting.
And he has experience with the Mannings, being around Cutcliffe and spending some summers with them. He picked up the offense quickly. He's an intelligent guy, and he knows what he's doing. I'm interested to see, obviously Eli's going to be the starter, but I am interested to see with Daniel Jones when he becomes the guy at some point, whether it's later this year or next year, and defenses start preparing for him. Can he keep that level of play up the way he has in the preseason? He's played well. I mean, the first 2 games, it was a lot of easy stuff. The third game, I think it was, there were some throws there. I was like, uh-oh.
Pocket started collapsing around him, a couple deep shots.
All right, watch it, Levy. Are you studying tape, the All-22?
I watched the All-36. I got a different kind of tape machine. And a flag comes in. Some good-natured ribbing with our pal Todd McShay. And I look forward to next year's draft already.
Pass interference, defense number 11, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Duke, Todd, who are you going to be talking about Duke in next year's draft? Like we know how Alabama leads the country in draft picks seemingly forever. Who's the next guy for Duke? Do they have a guy? In all seriousness.
They don't. There's not a guy who's eligible this year that is rated as a draftable player. McSwain, the defensive lineman, who's a backup today, and you saw him on the field. He's the highest rated player in terms of the national scouting list and what scouts went in and saw from the preseason. So, and listen, it's been 4 years. They had 1 player drafted in 4 years. In the same amount of time, over the 4-year span, Alabama had 39. I mean, that's the difference in talent that you're talking about. And I know it's a 6th overall pick, but that's just 1 player in a 4-year span.
Duke kind of refers to themselves as a developmental program for football. I think they get that, and we'll see the difference in these 2 programs that we're watching today on the field. And, well, there you go. 39 NFL picks in the last 4 years, and Duke has 1, Daniel Jones. Well, he was the 6th pick overall in the draft.
Well, that accentuates the job that David Cutcliffe has done there, right? I mean, he's in the ACC. Obviously, he's not in the SEC, but he's going up against the Clemsons of the world in the ACC. And he's turned this program around. This was a program he took over from Ted Roof 12 years ago. That was 4-42 before he took it over. And now he's made them competitive. You can see a difference in the lines of scrimmage in particular. And now he's getting quarterbacks that want to come and play for him because he's a proven quarterback coach to get to the next level.
They've won 3 straight bowls. In the 8 seasons before David Cutcliffe arrived, Duke was 10-82. They were 3-61 in the ACC. 3-61. Final minute of play. Looking to make it more respectable. Got a man, and it's intercepted. Intercepted in the end zone. It's Jordan Battle on the pick.
Well, it's been a tough night for Quentin Harris, and he's going to end it there with another interception. But you knew that he was going to have a tough time coming into this situation, this environment against this team. This was kind of just a fair catch by by Alabama in the end zone. But if Duke is going to have a successful season this year, they're going to have to grow offensively. Defensively, I think they're good. But offensively, they're going to need Quentin Harris to step up and make that passing game a little more advanced.
Duke gets North Carolina A&T next, then Middle Tennessee. Be an interesting coaching job, keeping Quentin Harris' spirits up after this one. Again, better days are ahead, like next week and the week after that, you would think.
Well, there's a lot of better days ahead for Quentin Harris, and not just with respect to football, right? Like he's in the Fuqua Business School. He's got CEOs of Fortune 500 companies that are calling him, wanting to come work for him.
He's got a slew of job offers already. He's in a position to succeed. And succeed Alabama did today. Amazing that this was a scoreless game into the second quarter. And then Alabama turned it on and ran away with it to the tune of 42-3. That's how the season will open for both the Crimson Tide and the Blue Devils. Here's Molly.
Thank you, Steve. Coach, 3 consecutive scoring drives out of halftime. What kind of adjustments did you make in the second half?
Well, I think we wore them down a little bit. In the first half, I think their defense got a little bit tired, but their defense did a great job. Gave us a lot of problems up front with stunting and blitzing. So I think our guys just executed a little better in the second half.
Your defense didn't let them into the end zone. What did they do well today?
Well, I was really pleased with the way the young linebackers played. There was a lot of adjustments out there. They did some things that we hadn't practiced, and the young kids did a good job of adjusting, and I was pleased with the way we played. We got some key turnovers and fourth down stops when we needed them.
What about your quarterback over here? Coaches have said that Tua has elevated his game this season. When was that apparent today?
Well, I think Tua played well in the game. I mean, we're doing some different things on offense, not just all RPOs, and he operated well, made good decisions, threw the ball accurately in the game, and that's what we expect from him.
All right, thank you, Coach. Congratulations. As I bring in the quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, congratulations on the win. In the first quarter, you didn't have your veteran backs in the game. How crucial are they to what you guys do on offense?
It was very crucial, but at the same time, it gave the younger guys an opportunity to get in, get some playing time, get all the nerves out, and I mean, as you could see with Jerome Ford, I mean, he had a nice touchdown, so he had a good comeback from it.
You spent the entire offseason with the bad taste of a loss in your mouth. How much of a relief is this win and this clean slate of this season?
Well, I mean, at the start of a new season, it's always going to have to be a clean slate. Whether we won last year, whether we lost, you always got to start a new season different, and I mean, it feels good to win always. So, I mean, it was a good team victory.
You said start different. How is this year's team different?
Well, I mean, you can start with the offense coordinator, the defense coordinator, a lot of coaching changes. So a lot of things to adjust to, within how the coaches coach and how we go about playing this time around.
All right, congrats on the win. Thanks, Tua.
Appreciate it.
Steve.
Scoreless into the second quarter, 14-3 at halftime, 42-3 the final score. Bama rolls on Duke. For Brian Greasy, Todd McShay, and a big welcome to Molly McGrath. Great to be with everybody all season long. That's the story from Atlanta. Send you back Kevin Nagandi, Jonathan Vilma, and Mark Sanchez. The season officially underway with a big Alabama victory.
Leeds, thank you so much. On ABC coming up, highlights including a shocker in the SEC. That's ahead after this.